deserve the respect of being called Mr. or Mrs. last name to retire.
Welcome to Darcy Streets for a huge round 18 NPL Tasmania showdown. The title could well be decided today. The Devonport Strikers, fresh off their FFA Cup success, now face another big game. They just keep on coming for the Strikers. They've passed every test so far, and now they march down to Darcy Street to take on South Hobart, the champions of last year. A victory, perhaps even a draw, and it'll be Devonport champions in 2018. Joining me to call the action this afternoon, Paul Hunt and Jake Morgan. A very good afternoon to you, gentlemen.
Now, isn't it fantastic to be here with two of the best teams in Tasmania for one of my absolute favourite games of the year? And absolutely, let's start it off with what a congratulations to this Devonport Strikers team to go over to Northcote on the mainland and become the first Tasmanian team to win away in the FFA Cup, if I'm not mistaken. Just absolutely fantastic for this team. And wasn't that man, the fox in the box, just utterly extraordinary on the eve? One particularly crisp finish from the top of the box.
Certainly was. I didn't even know there was a box emoji till Tuesday night. That's the other sneaky takeaway I took from Tuesday night.
Well, they created it for him, actually.
Did.
Facebook got the hot tip that the fox in the box had to be expressed in emoji form, and boy did they deliver.
Yeah, he was absolutely on fire, big Miles Barnard, and he scored the goal that sunk South Hobart in the Lacquer Seljet Cup the last time that they met. We'll have a look at the South Hobart lineup today. Jack Bowman will start in the middle of defence alongside Oscar Thomas, Hugh Ludford and Dan Brown, both out injured today.
Real big game player, isn't he, the archer for this South Hobart unit?
He's really impressive in the Cup final. You've got Renato Devecchi Marins, who's going to shoulder so much of the attacking load. Whether he plays centrally or out wide, we'll wait and see. I suspect maybe they might play him wide, given, say, Eddie Bidwell's the way he likes to push up the pitch. They might just try and peg him back a little bit. We'll see how they line up. Jack Turner, of course, the wild card in that. Does he start as a striker? Does he start in central midfield? He's been put in a number of different roles this year. Loic Farrell, he seems to have moved back into that defensive midfield role that he's previously occupied, but in the first half of the year it was Schmidt in that role. He's tucked back into fullback. I expect that to be the same today, but they've certainly got the capacity to switch things up if they want. In midfield, you've got Kobe Kemp, who really has just come back in like he's barely missed a week. He's been outstanding as Kemp, and it makes you think what might have been had he been fit all season. Adam Gorry, well, a couple of fantastic fullbacks, the two best right backs perhaps in the league in Adam Gorry and Eddie Bidwell will be doing their thing today. Very similar type of players. Nick
Three
Morton,
of them, I dare say.
Yep, I think there's Dom Smith's a fair shout, and Schmitty as well. So
I was just going with Gorry and Bidwell there as the three, but why not?
we've got Nick Morton. He's played a few different roles recently. He's shifted out to a left wing at times. He's played centrally. A key figure for South Hobart, a match winner on his day, is the Mortog. Oscar Thomas will occupy central defence alongside the archer. Jack Turner, we're not sure where he'll line up, nor Alex Walter, probably on the left wing, cutting in onto the right, but can be played anywhere across the front three. On the bench, you've got DeGhetto, Dowse, Hart, Legendre and Sculthorpe. Some serious firepower there for South Hobart to call upon, boys.
Certainly their strongest bench they've had in a while. South Hobart, they had a fair few injuries this year, especially with Kemp and Walter missing time. And as we're talking before, Jack Bowman, the archer, probably the best fourth choice centre-back of any team in the competition. Great depth for South Hobart to call on, and really need Devecchi Marins, I think, to have a huge game here for South Hobart if they're to have any chance. He's bung away a few in the league this year, but it's really been the cup performances this year that he's shone, so I think he needs to treat this one mentally as sort of a cup game just to get even more amped up and on the ball. But look, that's still a really strong team, South Hobart, and with Zebras winning and Launceston City dropping points, second place is up for grabs.
It's certainly a big game today. I think really the Devonport Strikers get a point, then they're home just about. I can't see them dropping points in three of their final few matches. It's just not going to happen. South Hobart have to win today. They've got to close that gap. Even then, they'll be relying on other results in other games. That goal difference Devonport enjoy is practically like a point in itself, so they're in such a strong position, the Strikers. And here is the starting lineup today. No surprises in there at all. Completely unchanged from the FFA Cup on Tuesday night. I'm a little bit surprised to see Bo Blizzard in there, given he ended up in hospital post-game after the FFA Cup. He played through injury in that one, had a few problems, but he's apparently recovered all right and will start again today. So interesting to see that. That was probably the only change you'd imagine. I thought maybe we might see Jelenovic sneaking in there, but it looks as if Blizzard's right to play. He'll be on the bench along with Henry Andrews and the Dance brothers. It's a team that is on a remarkable winning run. They've swept all before them, and now they've got one big obstacle in their way. If they get past this, they can just about reach out and touch it.
They certainly can. Devonport Strikers, 3 games in 8 days. While some people think it's a busy schedule, it's really what players live for. They don't live to train, they live to play, and I think just having it all in 1 week just adds to the momentum building, and they've knocked over the first 2 of that big 3, and let's see if they can do that here at South Hobart. They're still playing their strongest lineup here, not resting anyone either side of the big FFA Cup games, and with an import like Jelenovic on the bench and plenty of experience there as well, I guess they'll just be praying for nothing happens to keeper Nathan Pitchford, as they've left reserve keeper Thomas Pearce up in Devonport.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting scenario if it does come to pass. I wonder who will take up the gloves.
I would absolutely back Miles Barnard, the fox in the box, to just reverse the role that he plays and keep everything out, to be honest. So I think they've got a reserve goalkeeper in there with that man's in-the-box ability.
Well, he does seem to just know where to go to get into the path of the ball, so that's certainly something you'd expect from him should go to goals, but let's hope that doesn't happen. Pitchford in very good form. Maybe it started the season slightly slowly, but he's warmed into it and he has been in cracking form over the last month or so. Put off some very good saves against Northcote, and both these keepers will be important to their team's chances today. Of course, Devonport have won all 3 of the meetings between the 2 sides this year, including the Laka Seljuk Cup final. They've been very tight games though, with very little between them. South have just lacked that clinical edge, and we'll wait and see if they can find it today. It's what Morton has been seeking all season.
Just a little bit of a breeze picking up here at Darcy Street, blowing down away to the east-southeastern side of the ground, and it's really going to favour that end, I think, today. But more than anything, could it be a wind of change that is blowing here at Darcy Street today when we think about the title race? Because as we've touched on earlier, it's getting closer to that moment, and it is absolutely a must-win for South Hobart. I think it would open up the lead to 8 points, wouldn't it, for Devonport? And yeah, as you touched on earlier with the goal difference, that is really, really going to be impossible to catch. So this is going to be the biggest game just about that we've got left.
And you can tell because the ball plinth's in use, so you know it's a big game when it's not just off the field, it's even on the field, the ball plinth. That is how big this game is, just inside the touchline there here at South Hobart. We haven't got the stats man with us today, but I'd be curious to know if anyone's beaten South Hobart 4 times in 1 year in the last 10 years, 15 years, because I would highly doubt it. So even win 3 against South Hobart in 1 year is absolutely exceptional, and Devonport can do that today as we await kick-off here in NPL TAS, customary minutes late, despite the fact the previous game finished at about 1:35. We still can't quite get a turnaround in under 25 minutes here in the NPL TAS.
Just more time to build the hype for this one, I think.
Oh, we're very good at that.
Where do you think the game is going to be decided today, Paul?
Probably down the wings. It's probably an obvious suggestion, but it's just a matter of if Devecki plays in central or out wide and can get him behind the likes of... I mean, Smith usually sits back, but Bidwell likes to stream forward, and then it's even the same on the other side. Gorrie is still probably the most attacking right back in the league, and if Connor Schmidt's still out at left back, him and Farrell have been interchanging positions lately. I think it's really going to be on the wings, just who can get in behind either side.
Yeah, I think it might be a game of few chances. They've been very tight battles every time they've met this year, and it's just been Devonport's clinical edge in front of goal, thanks largely to Braden Mann, who just keeps piling them in for fun. I think that's probably been the difference in these encounters. All 3 of the matches could have gone either way, in truth, but they've simply been more clinical. They've had that will to win this year, the Strikers, and really, I think a point is good enough for them today, but that won't be their attitude. They'll come right out looking for all 3. But South Hobart, they simply must win. Anything else, and I think this race is a run, so a big task for them. The stage is set for what should be a cracking game of football How will the FFA Cup affect the Devonport Strikers? Of course, South Hobart know only too well about that fatigue factor. It was in 2015 they came back from an away trip to Sydney United, promptly lost to Northern Rangers and handed Olympia the title. So we have seen those away trips causing some problems before, but the way Devonport have negotiated the travel factor, I think they're probably better equipped than just about anyone to deal with it. I mean, the trip to Melbourne probably shorter than the usual trip to Hobart.
Yeah, it probably is in terms of time and then in convenience as well. I'd much rather a quick 50-minute flight than a 4-hour bus ride if I had the choice. So it's just another thing, and they can, the coach can use that as well as, they like to use the travel factor as a motivational thing up on the northwest coast, and to try and play the underdog status a tad, and I think that'll certainly work in well again in this game, as we see Lescano giving the referee manager a little bit of an elbow on the way past there. Hopefully it's nothing too malice in that from Lescano. Tony Pert must be running a line here today.
He's very good on Tuesday night, the Spanish defender. I think Brenton might be Brenton. We've got the Copra chopper in the middle this afternoon.
Doing a swap from Friday night. That must have been a little deal between Tony Pert and Copra.
Jeez, I tell you what, that is an all-star officiating crew.
Yeah, I was going to say, they must be pretty happy with the blokes that they've got to call such a massive game, because that is absolutely just about the 4 best officials you got in the state out there.
We've got Stratos in there too.
There you go.
The big 4 are out for the big title decider. So that's what we like to see.
Hope Linda's getting a photo of the refereeing crew and just put that as the poster for all Tasmanian referees right there.
That could be very useful for some promotional work. So lovely to see the best refs on the biggest game of the season. And let's hope they have a good one, because this is huge this afternoon.
Mate, I'm just surprised FFT's got something right.
Wow.
Well, one thing I hope FFT gets right
sarcasm
at the moment
for all you viewers out there, sarcasm.
is hopefully the volume's down on ACDC so we don't get shut down from YouTube as Thunderstruck again plays out from Darcy Street. They clearly haven't listened to us complain about ACDC's very strict interpretation of usage rights across the media landscape, so hopefully you can still hear us out there, the viewers.
No, it's let's be honest, Paul, it's a vast improvement on some of the soundtracks we were hearing earlier in the season.
Yeah. It's a vast improvement on Pete Murray from 15 minutes ago.
Absolutely going to be a long way to the top for South Hobart if they don't fail to get if they do fail to get the win here today. So it's really starting to come together now, and that Akadaka does just build the atmosphere a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, gets them pumped, and it's going to be a huge clash. We'll see if there's maybe that cagey feeling out period we so often get in these big games between the big sides, or whether it'll be a furious paced opening. Braden Mann and Nick Morton, 2 stars for their sides. Head to the middle here. Really looking forward to this one. It's been looming on the roster for some time as a likely de facto title decider, and especially with Launceston City losing to Olympia yesterday. That eliminates them pretty much from the race, you'd imagine. And so it could be all settled here at Darcy Street.
Braden Mann talking during the week about ambitions to move into state, and articles in the national media about his one to watch for the FFA Cup, and I think he showed that on Tuesday night. NPL leading goal scorer, over 150 goals. He's certainly prime for a step up, is Braden Mann, and you gave him the opportunity, nearly gave him the opportunity on Friday night to rant about Usain Bolt. I'll make it quick. I'd rather Braden Mann than Usain Bolt at the Mariners, is my humble opinion, but there you go.
I reckon he's got a better first touch than Usain.
I reckon he's got a much better first touch, and I reckon he knows how to play the game slightly better as well.
To be fair, he's probably quicker over the first 2 metres than Usain as well.
He's not known for getting out of the blocks terribly well as Usain Bolt sometimes.
Perhaps the next 98 he might have a slight edge, but I agree. Give me Braden Mann in front of goal any day of the week, and we're ready now for kick-off here at Darcy Street. A huge game in shaping this season. Can the Strikers finish the job that they've started there? 2 out of 2 this week. The third of their big games is underway. A chip forwards is cleared by Thomas. Only as far as Joel Stone. This man in absolutely sparkling form just keeps on scoring. There's Joel Stone. He knocks this one back to Eddie Bidwell. Slightly heavy touch, went straight to Morton. Now Renato De Vecchi Marins, the Brazilian, And he gets rather cynically blocked off there, and the first foul of the game goes South Hobart's way. And we'll see plenty of that from Bo Blizzard today, I suspect.
We'll probably see plenty of Lascano pressing the buttons in this game as well, just hoofing the ball away after the free kick there. And we look at South Hobart, how they're lining up. They've got Jack Turner as the number 9, which is what they've tended to roll out a bit lately, and Kobe Kemp and Morton playing in the kind of number 6, number 8 type roles in the centre of the park as Walter gets on the ball, tries to find Morton. Bidwell, Devecki gets in front, but Lascano doing what he did all Tuesday night and just hoofing the ball to safety whenever there was an attacking threat from the opposition. And Devecki Marines does look like he's lining up against Eddie Bidwell, just trying to negate that attacking threat that the fullback has.
Absolutely right to flag that one there, Funty, because that was the big tactical decision that we were curious about in the lead up to this game. But I think it's going to be because of that heading ability in particular that we've got from Turner that just favours Devecki stretching this Devonport side out wide. And just as you flagged too, the lead up to this game, how important the wing battle will be today. And that's really strengthened South Hobart there today. A couple of yells for handball, which were absolutely incorrect. Devonport now managed to just get away with the ball. Stone, pressured by Morton. Bit of link-up play there between him and Mann before Lascano gets the hoof in.
Gets it to Morton. Morton on the left-hand side. Devecki wanted it short, and Morton decided to put it 30 yards over his head, and that's not what Devecki wanted. South Hobart really operating with a very much Australia under Ange Postecoglou setup, where you haven't got Tommy Urich up front. You put a slightly shorter striker up there and then just have pacey wingers and number 10s flying through. It's what I'm sensing here from Coach Ken Morton, as the Archer doesn't quite get entirely accurate clearance the first time, but luckily has a second go. And with the distance on that, must have seen that clearance in the American Women's Soccer League that's doing the rounds on the internet at the moment. The goal from inside the own half. Miles Barnard tries to find Bidwell, and I think he does just enough to get the throw in, and he does.
Geez, I'd like to see a replay of that.
Shreddy not quite on the same page there, but a throw in for Eddie Bidwell. Absolutely busted along on Tuesday, covering that right hand flank, and he throws it now in the man direction. Schmidt dropping in there. Kobe Kemp sends it long. Alex Walter will have to wait for it. Chested it down, but went behind Adam Gorry. Walter recovers, and then with a clever little back heel, he finds Gorry. But Gorry's pass not on the same quality level there, and he couldn't pick out Turner.
Yeah, just looking a little sleepy here in the beginning, potentially. I think this South Hobart side not quite linking up as well as we've seen from them throughout this season so far, but we know that they have class, and class is not temporary, unlike form.
As Turner tries to get it forward, but Lascano there to stop. Farrell goes to Devecki, immediately pressured by Mann and Bidwell. Howls from the South Hobart crowd for a foul there, nothing given. Scrap in there with Stone battling with Farrell. Morton gets a toe in, and I think he concedes a throw in. Morton playing a very high energy role in the middle of the park here today. Stone tries to turn away. Devecki and Stone seemingly trying to recreate Riley Dillon and Nick Morton there, but not quite to the same effect as Bidwell.
Pretty sure Stone just threw away Devecki Marines' headband right then, so some cheeky and perhaps a little unsporting stuff there from Joel Stone, but highly amusing at the same time. Vintage. Don't mind that. And they're right on here, South Hobart. Turner with a beautiful bit of dribbling play, but tried to take on a little too much of Stone there now. And they could be in here through Turtle Holden, I think it is out there. He's got Oscar Thomas for company. Manages to get the cross in, but to nobody in particular other than Archer. Archer only manages to spill it out to Stone. He's got Bidwell out on the right. Schmidt for company. Odd little trick there before he combines with Krusher. Bidwell again. And there's no one getting on the end of that ball across the face. Probably should have been finished. One of Mann or the Fox in the box. Should have finished this one off, I think, boys.
It's a rarity not to see the Fox in the box inside the 6-yard box, and then Adam Gorry with probably the most needless corner conceding I've seen in a while. There's no one in 15 metres of him.
Some beautiful play there from Devonport on the edge of the box to work that one in, though.
It's a great ball from this man, Jetty Krusher, and on Tuesday night, one of the very best players, Sasha Oganovsky, waxing lyrical about him, in fact, as he takes this corner short and has the chance to swing it in now. He finds Lascano, goes for the bicycle.
Why
Gets
not?
pretty close to the head of Loic Farrell, though, and Copper quite rightly bringing a stop to that. But the Spaniard showing a little bit of flair here. Would have been absolutely incredible goal if he puts this one in, but Loic Farrell blocking it off. There's Lascano again. Nods it into the middle. Joel Stone ships it over the top. Nobody at home there. His tidiest work. He's been getting stuck in early though, Stone, and such a rich vein of form right now. This one's over the top for Turner, but a bit too much pepper on it. And it'll be gathered by Pitchford. 6 minutes tick by. Pitchford smashes this in the Barnard direction. He nods on in towards Braden Mann. Bowman got his foot in there. Bidwell coming through, scrapping with Loic Farrell. Play allowed to continue. Joel Stone skips into space and drives it into the box. Who got the last touch on that? A Devonport body. It'll be a goal kick.
Good work from Joel Stone. Not sure how that wasn't a foul there in the build-up.
On Bidwell.
Play on Bidwell. Not sure if he meant that step over. We'll have another look at this acrobatic effort from Guillermo Lascano. Clearly got that in his locker, the centre back.
The technique looked pretty good, to be honest.
Very good technique.
And it looked as though it was timed pretty well, but the header there from Farrell was absolutely crucial to just win the foul there, because you can't really go for big bicycles like that when players are that near to you. Too much of a risk of the head injury. Probably a little bit of a soft decision there, I think, going the way of Devonport. I didn't see too much in that one.
Referee. Maybe an evening up, despite the fact they claim they don't exist anymore from Copper. Over the ball.
Can't get rid of the psychological pressure for the even up, though, which is one of the hardest things about refereeing. But we are privileged to have 4 of the best here today. We've got Crusher over the ball. Can he serve up here? His delivery has always been pretty good from the dead ball. Crusher now, not quite enough onto it. Headed at the near by Gorry there. Ball ends up back at the feet of Crusher. He's taking on Morton, but well shut down there by Morton to prevent him from swinging the ball back in the box while the centre backs remained up.
Done well there, and credit to South Hobart. They've clearly been watching some live stream action lately, just putting those sponsorship banners a little higher so the camera can see it, and the one over the corner flag. Lovely work there from South Hobart, catering to their sponsors. There's good turn from Smith, looks to get towards the Fox in the box, but a good shout from Kieran Brown. We'll see him claim that one comfortably. Rolls it out in the Gorry direction. He's got Turtle Holden for company. Oh, nearly a good intercept there, and Crucial leaves a foot in. Now Turner to Kemp. Jack Turner's on here. He's onside, going through to the box. Jack Turner, 1v1, shoots and scores! Jack Turner putting South Hobart 1-0 in front in the big game.
And that is an absolute sucker punch from South Hobart. I am pretty sure that that is their first shot throughout the game. First shot, first goal. What an absolutely beautiful run that was from Turner to stay onside. And I'm not sure which one of the Devonport players it was. It could have been Lascano, but one of them might have played him on there.
I think it was Bidwell at right back, and he was so preoccupied with marking Deveki Marin so tightly that he wasn't in sync with the rest of his line. Jack Turner sprints into the gap, and that's a clinical finish. That's why he's leading the line. And that's brought the Darcy Street crowd to life. What a start. And just reinvigorating a bit of life into this title race here, South Hobart. They take the early lead.
It's down the line, it's towards Schmidt. Bidwell trying to get there. Morton, a little bit of a heavy touch, and it goes out of play. Yeah, I think you're right there calling. It was Bidwell so preoccupied with Deveki. Dropped about 3 yards deeper and allowed Turner to get to the channel between Smith and Lascano, and from there he had a 1v1 with the keeper. Certainly not a certainty with Pitchford in rare form at the moment. As we see Deveki on the ball, going the wrong direction. Now to Kemp. But yeah, Turner finished exceptionally well. Goes out for a throw-in. And Gorry, South Hobart's favourite ranger, to take the throw. We've got a whole lot of options here.
Yeah, just a little bit static there from South Hobart, and you can kind of see that happen after a goal, because it just seems that players will often go back into their shell after that, even the team that has scored at times. Just putting a bit of pressure on themselves here, South Hobart, and that really could have led to some troubles. That was some brilliant closing down there by Mann, and Barnard up top for Devonport. South Hobart's goalkeeper's done pretty well there as a pretty clear foul is called on Devecchi Marines, and they're not too happy. The local fans just raising the attention of Copra that's probably the second or third foul committed by Joel Stone on Devecchi Marines. So just making sure that the ref knows about the accumulator there. It's a beautiful ball long, and it's just going to fall to Walters before Smith, I think, gets that one away.
Yeah, it's certainly a foul, but it wasn't the most malicious
No.
foul we'll see all day today. I think just South Hobart letting him know to keep the cards counting, as you suggested, as that one's to Loic Farrell. Walter against Smith. I think the last touch is off Smith, and he keeps it in play. Alex Walter going into the 18-yard box. Look, dummy from Kemp. Devecchi in the box. Goes for the bicycle, Devecchi, and trying to say to Lazcano, what you can do, I can do better, but doesn't quite get a purchase on it.
Well, he did make the top 3 in the voting for the goal of the FFA Cup qualifying rounds on the FFA Cup website midweek. Maybe just trying to go a little bit better here and produce an absolute stunner. It's well, we love watching Renato Devecchi Marines. He just tries to pull the rabbit out of the hat every time he gets the ball, and quite often he's been succeeding in that. Not on this occasion.
Mate, he would have been pulling the Easter bunny out of the hat right there. That would have been a pretty big bunny to rip out.
Probably wish he was in the Goal of the Year competition last year when the prestigious prize was on offer.
Devonport here now, just starting to turn the screws a little bit more. Beautiful jinking run there to save from the man in the middle of the park. Devonport didn't quite catch the view of it. I caught a big view of a pole though. Bidwell winning out against Devecchi Marines before just a bit of ping pong really going on between these two sides. Now Gorry breaking forward at the pace that he often does, but he's well held there by Turtle Holden, who just kind of continued that scrappy bit of play that we had going on there.
Certainly think Oscar Thomas is giving Miles Barnard a few more headaches than the Northcote defence did during the week. Barnard was winning absolutely everything on that occasion, and Oscar Thomas, I think, must have been watching and is really pressuring him at every opportunity so far.
He's the absolute right build for a centre-back, isn't he, Oscar Thomas? Good height, very leggy. Oh, and they're in now here, South Hobart. Brilliant challenge there from Lazcano on Walter. They've got the overlap now through Schmidt. Bidwell just having to mark Devecchi Marines. Stone getting tight to Schmidt. They find Walter, but Walter takes a horrible touch. And they're on now here, Devonport breaking back the other way through Crusher.
Gilly Crusher buffeted off it by Kobe Kemp, did well. Here's Adam Gorry, who looks to charge forwards again. Really going to enjoy his battle up against Michael Holden. Two players who really only know one way of going about it. That is 100% full tilt charging down the flank. I thought Holden was absolutely exceptional against Northcote. He absolutely torched that defence. And Adam Gorry will have his hands full today defensively.
The other one that Sasha Ognovsky pointed out as one of the players from Devonport he'd love to have.
Indeed, as Eddie Bidwell nods it down. That's a nice little 1-2 there with Braden Mann. Now Bidwell with some room to run into. He charges off there. Alex Walter working back well in defence. Not terribly convincing by the Archer though, and Bidwell is going to win a corner for his side in the end, I think.
Yeah, it's really good hustle from Eddie Bidwell. A couple of occasions, defenders probably thought he'd hit it too far, but he just kept on going to Eddie Bidwell and forced the Archer into putting his foot in.
Not surprisingly there, the Archer was just trying to keep his distance a little bit, not too keen to get into the close range combat. But just the fact that he was a bit reticent to do that meant that he's given away the corner here. It's going to be Crusher. His typically brilliant delivery, is it? No, just a little bit too low and a little bit too far away from the box there. South tried to break pretty quickly, but they just allow Devonport to win back control here.
Out wide to Smith. Tom Smith goes for a raking ball looking for Joel Stone, who's just on his heels a tad there. Joel Stone, it was a pretty good ball for the winger. Yeah, Joel Stone the last month or two was really playing at the peak of his powers here. The rocket earlier in the season, Chris Gillow put underneath him, I think it's worked an absolute treat.
Yeah, masterful work there from Chris Gallo in human psychology, that one. He has absolutely got the best out. As Joel Stone for about the fourth time goes through the back of Devecchi, and that has well and truly earned the eye of Ken Morton, the South Hobart coaching staff. And I know Britton Crop was one who likes to let them play. I think it's about time he got himself a dose of dairy there, Joel Stone.
Yeah, Nick Morton there just counting on his fingers to Copra how many fouls have been committed by Jedinaz Krusha. And that would just about get you a week in the AFL if that's hit somebody in the head, I reckon, these days. That soft code that we don't like, obviously.
Joel Stone, very lucky boy there. I think he's crunched him a few times. They're clearly trying to work over the Brazilian, rough him up a little.
Risk of spinal cord injury there too. I really wouldn't have wanted a bit of a cheese for that one. But now we're going to see Deveki Marines. Can he be a bit of a joker in the pack here? And it's a beautiful bit of play here. Chipped up over the top. Clear handball from Turner. And well spotted there by Copra, because we would have had a few outraged Devonport fans that have made the journey down over that one.
Yeah, they would have arced up over that. Not sure it would have been quite as vociferous as the locals got a moment ago there.
No.
With Joel Stone well and truly firing up. We found ourselves the villain in this piece early on, that's for sure.
They do love a good villain here at Darcy Street. They really like to latch onto them for the rest of the match. And I think Joel Stone is villain number one here. As that one goes towards Barnard. Mayan wins the second header. Coming over the top is Barnard. And the Fox couldn't quite control that one. Now Blizzard falls to Turner. Turner holding the play up well and passing. So no one in particular probably had a shirt being tugged there, which is what he's turning around and saying to the referee. Morton in against Stone. And South Hobart managed to win the throw-in on that occasion.
I love the way Stone goes about it, though, to be honest, because it's always seemed to me that he is the sort of player that you despise when he plays against your team, but boy, when he plays for your team, don't you absolutely love him?
Yeah.
Kind of player willing to do the hard yards and absolutely fly the flag. Some great competitiveness there from Deveki Marines, who's won a bit of a soft decision. I think he's stolen about 10 yards there too, up the line, and it gets called back, and a bit more outrage from the South fans.
Joel Stone staying down for a little while there. Holden hoofs that one into the sky. Krusha underneath it. Only as far as the Frenchman Loic Farrell.
Holden is really working hard in defence today, I have to say, because after the first 5 minutes where Devonport were really quite dominant, as we've seen South come back into the game, haven't really seen any stage of the game where Gorrie has managed to get that overlapping run that is so typical to the way that South Hobart plays. So just full credit for Turtle Holden for working so hard in an area that isn't probably his most favoured position, despite the fact that we named him at left back in Team of the Season last year.
He's played a fair bit of wing back now, and he's
Played there on Tuesday night.
Absolutely exceptional in the way he does. He's been going about it tremendously. Obviously more noted for his offensive side of the game, but his pure work rate does really help out in defence. As Kobe Kemp just runs out of room there. Dom Smith able to win the throw back Devonport's way, and a bright start. And now find themselves chasing the game, and wonder how their legs will be if they have to chase this one late. It's Barnard the target here. Gorrie wraps his leg around it, and Smith just unable to control. We didn't flag pre-game. It would be a game we thought a few chances, and that's really been how it's panned out. The Jack Turner goal, really the only clear-cut chance in the opening 20 minutes for either team. The dangerous balls into the area, but so that's from that, not a lot of goal-mouth action. Loic Farrell chipping it forwards. There was the form of the imperious Kieran Mulroney to head away. Speaking of players in good form, he really has been an absolute rock this season. And adding some goal scoring to it now to boot. Yeah, he scored a spectacular little scissor kick a couple of weeks back, if not for a great save from Sheck Kamara. Alex Walter. Kemp back in towards Walter. Krusha tracking back, away by Dom Smith. And now a wrestling match between Thomas and Barnard. Thomas wins it, but straight to Krusha. He chips it into the path of Holden. There's that battle with flagged, Holden and Gorrie. Gorrie with the position. Brown smashing it long, and Turner will come in, but Smith able to win the header. Farrell, and a free kick spotted there, so maybe a little soft one there. The striker's high arm, I think, being called there by Brenton Copra.
Possibly, as is always the case here on a Sunday at Darcy Street, the rain starts to appear off the mountain. I don't think I've had a game here. I think I've had one game here this year where it hasn't rained so far. It's Krusha over the bowl.
Just a light drizzle there, Paul.
It is, and that's into the box. Well cleared from the archer. Kemp back to Bidwell. Devonport now looking to attack down the right-hand side. It's Turtle Holden with a low ball that Loic Farrell should be able to deal with. Kemp looks out wide. Gorrie, as always, an eager runner, but well intercepted from Dom Smith. And we'll see that one out for a goal kick.
Beautiful vision there from Kobe Kemp, wasn't it, to see Gorry just stretching out the run on the right-hand side, but didn't quite get enough pace on that pass. So we just have another look again at a really clinical finish, you've got to say, from Turner. Just about any keeper in the world would struggle to stop that one, and not many of them would.
Absolutely. As Kieran Brown now looks to take the goal kick long. Sees Gorry in a pocket of space and gets, well, headed there from Smith. Does leave an opening in behind that Walter will look to exploit. Trying to beat the defender is Alex Walter. He's got two in the box. One is Turner, hits it at the keeper, deflects. Turner scrambling at Walter. It's in. It's a tap in the head. A bad scramble in the 6-yard box. And the goal has been given despite calls for offside.
Yeah, we're going to need to have another look at this one because he looks so very, 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 very close to that final line there. And we'll just have a look at it here. I think he is.
He's up behind the keeper, so you need two players, so that's offside.
He is offside there. I think the fact that Pitchy Pitford has gotten in front of Walter there, and there is one defender remaining behind him. I think that is technically an offside decision.
Love to see another replay of that again. It's
really tough one for the refs to get absolutely correct there, but just for me, I think he is offside.
If Walter's the one that's kicked it in, I mean, I guess the argument is it's come off Lascano.
Yeah, Lascano's got the touch on it.
Yeah.
There's Alex Walter, and boy, does he let them know about it. Is that Dogger Brown back there?
Yeah, it is.
Boy, just getting involved in the celebrations even when he's not playing. Fair to say Alex Walter enjoyed it. And it is 2 now. He takes full advantage. And South Hobart with a dream start here now. And off the back of a short break and 2 games in quick succession, it's the Strikers who have a mountain to climb.
Certainly do, as Gorry takes the throw in to the goal scorer, Walter.
Oh, it's beautiful for the title race, isn't it, boys?
Up in the air, Turner's underneath it. Pitchford punches clear. And now Crucier. Oh, lovely run from Turtle Hold'em. It's about an inch too far in front of him.
Just
he was in on goal. Well, not in on goal, but he was down the line in plenty of space for Turtle Hold'em.
Played a little bit more out in front of him rather than kind of swung in at that sort of 90-degree kind of angle, making it a little bit difficult for him to get the right touch out in front there. But incredible stuff here at Darcy Street. Some real controversy, I think, on that second goal for South Hobart.
Oh, on second look, I do think it is Lascano who's kicked it in that direction, and Walter, despite the fact he was out of play, if it's come off to the defender, it doesn't really matter. So good spotting, I think, from the far sideline. Blizzard now in the centre of the park, looks for an option. Barnard, he would need to be an Olympic sprinter to get to that one. Connor Schmidt. He runs it out of play unnecessarily, but passes it to Stone. Confusion between Stone and Mann. Lascano with the fresh airy.
And that is Tony out on that other side, isn't it?
It is.
All right, I'm just going to shut up now and presume that he's gotten that one absolutely correct, because that is routinely what happens in these kind of scenarios. I talk some smack and then Tony's right. So I didn't see a touch there from Lascano, but they're on again here, South Hobart. Kemp dances through and then just gets up and underneath it and hoiks it about 15 metres too wide and high, I reckon.
Yeah, well and truly over the top here from Kobe Kemp. Dances through, did take quite the bobble on him, to be fair. Off balance on the left, a fairly low percentage effort.
Seen plenty of bobbles in NPL TAS, getting that time of the season where the pitch is getting a bit wobbly, and Pitchford is probably going to want to use that excuse himself as he's kicked that right to the fourth official. Now Connor Schmidt against DeVecchi. DeVecchi immediately double teamed by Stone. Bidwell. And man, they can't really get it out of this area. DeVecchi with a lovely turn. Turner to DeVecchi. Bidwell manages to keep it in and does well. Stone hasn't got a whole lot of options here, and DeVecchi wins the ball back. Now to Morton. He gives it away to Bidwell, working in really tight spaces here, both sides. Blizzard to Barnard. Can't quite get a toe on it, and Kieran Brown thumps it high. Walter's got Mulraney for company. Crucier. That's out of play nearly from Dom Smith, and finally he's got a bit of territory, but not much else.
He's been really good defensively today, Dom Smith, but we haven't seen him offer an awful lot going forward, either with the passing or the runs. But I suppose when you've got a customer like Alex Walter to deal with and another player like Gorry as well for company, you're going to be with your hands full. And they're in here, Devonport, I think, with Bidwell out on the right. Crusher, perhaps a foul on the edge of the box here, and he wants it. It looked like a little clip on the back of his ankles there, but South Hobart looking to go forward with some real speed here. Intercepted well there from Nick Morton. Just played the wrong ball potentially there with Walter out on the other side. Go through to Vecchi. Some beautiful foot skills, a little bit of a shirt tug, and then a big old hip and shoulder too. Getting laid on Devecchi. Absolutely a foul there, either the first or the second. Take your pick.
Yeah, well, Joel Stone might be lucky there was a second one, because he's already walking that tightrope. Surely Lascano comes in, makes absolutely sure of it. Devonport rather cynical in their attempts to stop the Brazilian so far in this one. They've clearly come with a plan to physically try and bully him off the ball, but with the scoreboard running 2-0 to South Hobart, it's all going just fine for the home side.
I dare say it's playing out a bit like Paul said it would at the start. That different option that Devecchi offers them out wide, and Devonport have been so worried about dealing with him that they haven't dealt with players like Walter and Turner, who absolutely have a lot of class up top. Morton now to curl it in for South Hobart. Can they make it three? Great delivery, but just chopped off there by Pitchford. If somebody a bit bigger had made that run at the near post, they're in there. Bidwell with a steaming run before Nick Morton with a 50-metre sprint gets in with the sliding challenge. Devecchi now looking to take on Blizzard. Blizzard just gives him a shove, and Coppera's letting it go today. You have to say that, and the boos ring out around Darcy Street. They are absolutely furious with that one. Blizzard getting away with a bit of bloody murder, I dare say.
Yeah, head in my hands for that one. Well, that's not a foul on Devecchi Marines. I'm not entirely sure. Just bullied off the ball illegally. It was Luke Farrell now in the centre of the park. Looks towards Turner. And as far as Joel Stone, Turner. The good stuff that tote the Darcy Street crowd. Given how much Joel Stone's got away with in this game so far, they're not terribly happy about that decision.
Yep, yeah, give the villain a soft one, and the home crowd is always going to be a bit furious, you have to say. And that is the role that he has played there today. Joel Stone, the villain, just about the Stone Man, I think, is coming soon in the next instalment of the Marvel Universe. He's going to just about destroy the city of Hobart, I think.
He's rivaling
the Stone Man.
He's rivaling Stone Cold Riley Dillon for that nickname at the moment. There's Alex Walter with a nice piece of skill. Still going is Walter. He's only really got Devecchi up ahead. Still going Walter. Well marshalled in the end. And Smith.
I think it was a reasonably intelligent decision there from Walter to just hold that one off when he didn't really have anything other than Devecchi, who was arriving pretty late and covered by Lascano and Bidwell. You can see Turner in the box there, just Kobe Kemp making a late run. So just sensible to hang on to the ball when you've got a 2-0 lead. Attempted, beautiful flick, and it's a goal! What a beautiful backheel flick that was before it's finished off by Kobe Kemp. Incredible third goal for South Hobart. Oh, class, take a bow, Alex Walter with the assist.
Well, this goal difference that we said was like an extra point is being whittled away here at the moment by South Hobart. They are running up the score here at the moment.
Look at that.
Devonport, well, we said they might be flat. They have been flat at the back, and South are taking full advantage. Jack Turner absolutely vindicating his position as the starting striker. He's got a goal, he's got an assist now, and Kobe Kemp, that is an emphatic finish from the young midfielder. South absolutely flying, and they're going to keep looking to score here too, because every goal is worth so much given the goal difference situation.
I think we're going to have to create a live ladder situation here, which I don't think we were thinking of pre-game. South Hobart 3-0 up after half hour against the Strikers, who've been in such red-hot form. I think they're 14 games unbeaten from memory. Bo Blizzard in the centre of the park.
Their tails are up here, South Hobart, and their home crowd is right behind them, and they're on again here. It's Turner. He's got 4 Devonport players surrounding him. He did manage to hold it up, but Kobe Kemp just wasn't quite on the same wavelength. Crusher tries to get things going quickly. Well intercepted there by Schmidt. Probably should just calm things down a little bit here, South Hobart, but they are more than going for the jugular. They are beating this dead horse. that is the Devonport side. Kemp now. He's got Walter out on the right-hand side. Dom Smith for company. Beautiful overlap from Gorry. Goes himself, Walter, and it was just sneaking in at that near post, but you wouldn't expect Pitchford to be beaten by them.
No, you wouldn't, but he did bobble the ball when trying to claim it there, and Turner was pretty unhappy with himself for not running in and challenging that one. Again, we'll see Morton get in front of the Fox in the box this time, who hasn't had a whole lot of service in this match. That's possibly not a foul. Copra yelling play on. Walter, at the moment, is still onside. Beats Smith, and now it's Mulroney for company. DeVecchi's on the far side. He's got, it's the direction he goes in. It's DeVecchi against Bidwell, and a little push off there from DeVecchi Marines. Walter, let's have a look. Just not following it in, Jack Turner, and you can just see there, not terribly happy with himself for that one.
So the gap now is 8 goals after starting the day at 14. So it's obviously, you know, every goal is essentially worth double that South can score today. So if they can close that gap today as much as possible, it would be huge, because Devonport, even with the defeat today, and it's looking like that's the way this match is going to head, the gap would still be 3 points between them. So even say, should they drop points to Launceston City, and they were level on points, it would still be Devonport with the edge. So still everything to play for here today for South Hobart, and against this Strikers team. The only other time I've seen them this flat this season was after the FFA Cup game against the Zebras. That was probably more just the flow of the game, but they didn't quite have that verve and zip they normally do, and I think we've seen that today. We've seen the effects, and South Hobart, they're absolutely dialed in, and they're looking for more. It's Adam Gorry now. He can't quite pick out the cross to find Turner. He made that run, but it's been a dream opening half hour here for the hosts. They're hauling themselves back into the title race.
Certainly are, as Pitchford to take the goal kick. I'm going to wait and try and get some distance off this one and possibly just calm things down a tad. Here they've been under the cosh for most of the last 20 minutes of the Strikers. Pitchford looking long. Loic Farrell gets his head to that one. Crusher can't find Blizzard, and turned over to Walter, who spots DeVecchi in a pocket of space. Lescano losing that one under the sun. DeVecchi brings it down magnificently to Turner. Couldn't quite control that one, Jack Turner, but South Hobart playing some really lovely stuff here this afternoon. Pitchford, again looking for the quick goal kick, but nothing happening. Devonport really have to at least keep it to 3-0 before the half, or possibly try and sneak one if they're to stay in this match. Pitchford, won by Smith. Well, it turns out won by Kobe Kemp as Devonport win the throw-in. Getting
Just
some territory.
Beginning to wonder what Devonport can change to potentially try and snatch a point. Were they to be so bold in this game maybe, but thinking about what they've got to offer us from their bench, and not really coming up with too much, really.
Lenovich would be the one you'd have thought as Bidwell comes in there, but I don't think they'll try to do anything too risky. Defeat's not the end of the world for them, given the current state of the league. A heavy defeat is the only way they possibly suffer, and we're going to see
Henry
an
Andrews.
early change here. Henry Andrews coming on for Jetty Crusher. I'm not sure if that's injury related or whether Chris Gallo's just not happy with what he's seeing out there, but a change in midfield doesn't look to be injury, so Andrews on for Crusher. And talk about sending a message to your squad. The sub after 34 minutes.
Straight
Lift,
down,
boys, or you might be next.
straight down the shed as well, gentlemen, with Crusher, not acknowledging any member of his side's technical area. As man tries to turn the archer. Well cleared. Turner. Flick on one by Kobe Kemp. Alex Walters available on the far side. That's where he goes. Look at Adam Gorry making a lung-busting run. Goes short to Morton. Stone against Morton to Turner. Turner's working spot, shoots with the left foot, but right at keeper Pitchford.
Yeah, and they just let him have a little bit of space on the edge of the box there, so why not have a ping? Beautiful header on there from Braden Mann before Oscar Thomas just strides that one out ahead of the Fox in the box.
Put that one into next door.
Not really sure which animal outpaces the giraffe or the fox, but right there it was the giraffe with the strides there that got the victory.
You'd think the long stride would probably make the giraffe win. Fox a little more nimble I reckon. Close and in around the area, but I think the Giraffe would win in a genuine pace battle.
We've just had the bloke go and get the ball, offer us another one onto the pitch.
It's a pretty good throwback.
It was actually.
From that deep confines of the neighbour's property. Clearly a Devonport fan, or South Hobart fan, adding to the time wasted.
All right, cross coming in here for Devonport. Can they get one back? The fox in the box was lurking there, but just a little bit too much on that one, I think, or it could have been Mulroney. You're right there.
I think it was Mulroney who had the best opportunity there at the back post, unmarked. He's just completely missed it.
Would have seen it very late, mind you, coming over those Brown's flailing hand. And Brown under pressure here from Barnard was closing him down, the Fox, and forces the hurried clearance out of play. It'll be a throw in. The strikers just starting to show a few signs of life after a pretty flat 30 minutes. It was a good start from them, but really since Jack Turner's first goal, it's been one-way traffic, and Devonport need to find a way back in. Joel Stone tries to find that avenue by taking a bit of a tumble, looking for a free kick. They'll settle for a corner instead, and the wind seemingly blowing this one towards the goal. It should be a tough one for Brown to judge if Stone can get the in-swinger right. Plenty of bodies up there. Devonport really throwing men forwards here as they seek a way back into the game. It's Joel Stone to swing it in, goes to the back post, and Brown claws at it and puts it behind for another corner. He tried to bend one. We saw Whiskey Van Dorn on Friday night scoring directly from the corner. So he curled one in.
And that one looked like it was going in, didn't it? So I'd give a bit of credit there to young Brown.
Turtle Holden with the next delivery, and this one's to the back post. Mulroney's there. Dom Smith arriving late too. Mulroney got his head to it, but not a straight out of play for a goal kick. Nothing doing there.
Just under 10 minutes left in this half. South Hobart, one of the first meaningful pressure really their defence has been under for most of this game since Chris Gallo made that sub. Short goal kick to Oscar Thomas. Schmidt pressured by Bidwell. Morton just whacks it into Joel Stone. Gets the ball back and looks for Turner. Down the line, but that's down to play. And Devonport take the throw. Lascano looking for Stone, but dispossessed. And again cleared.
Just a couple of
the wind picking up a little here, I think.
A couple of errant passes just being helped along by that wind, I think. And we talked about the wind of change at the start in terms of the title race, but in terms of last year, but this has just changed it up for this season. And don't they love that, the South Hobart faithful. Just a little bit of a failure there from Lascano. It's been pretty damn good for the Devonport strikers this year, you have to say. We're taking up the mantle as maybe the best import centre-back other than Marcage's older brother, Marcage. Between the two of them, they've been pretty extraordinary after the standards set by Grunwald last year. And they're on here, Devonport. It's that man, the villain, the Stone man, Joel Stone. And he absolutely gets psyched down by Oscar Thomas. But I don't think we'll be seeing a card produced from Brenton Copra for that one, because some may call that a little inconsistent.
I think Copra's just legitimately forgot his pen here today, and that's why there's no
clear
fouls given.
That
is a clear foul. Probably a yellow card as well, as he would have had an opportunity to whip the ball into the box, Joel Stone, and that's the only thing I can really think of.
Well, he's been consistent.
Exactly. He's been consistent.
Yeah, give him that much, and that's the main thing that coaches ask for from referees. Now, I'm sure Ken Ward would like a bit more protection for Devecki, but given that he hasn't received it, I think at least we got consistency in Thomas not getting a book in for hacking down the bloke who's done most of the damage to Devecki, and Joel Stone, who's been in the thick of absolutely everything thus far. Turtle Holden, another one of the menagerie on display today, ready to curl this one in. And he stands it up to the middle of the box. Stone was there, blocked. I think Jack Turner getting back, pinballing around the box. Dom Smith, Adam Gorry took it away from him. Now Mulroney buffeting Walter off. It did well there, Mulroney. Then he beats a defender too. Dexterous, this from the big centre-back. And teaser, Lascano blocked off the line. And Morton will eventually clear. They hang on, although barely. And the ball's going to come back at them here because Joel Stone's on it. He gets around Morton. Morton recovers. Stone wants to get the cross in. He does so. Steered away by Luke Farrell, and now at last the dangerous pass for South Hobart. They'll try and spring it into attack with a long ball. Pitchford miles off his line, and Cooley volleys it straight to Kemp, who saw the chance for the spectacular volley. Couldn't connect with it. Breathless stuff this as Turner now works it across to Morton, and Bidwell blasted into him, and we'll have a stoppage.
Yeah, a chance to catch our breaths here as the two centre-backs combining in the attacking half of the strikers. Lascano with the sliding volley. Any striker would be proud of that, and it's only the giraffe. Long legs.
Absolutely marvellous technique there from the centre-back Lascano. Just a bustling run there, and didn't he want to get on the end of that ball there? That was a striker's kind of run. Bidwell now tried to dance through, but gives it away. Deveki Marines gets told to get up, because he made a fair bit of it, and then a bit of afters there from Braden Mantua, who gets in his face and says, don't you make too much of that.
I'm just enjoying Stratos trying to keep the South Hobart technical area in check. Ken Morton
he's
not happy about that decision at all.
He's going to have to get the straitjacket out there soon, I reckon, Stratos, if he's going to be able to restrain any of them, because this game's fire is just building. The frustration creeping in from Devonport, frustration at the lack of protection from South Hobart, and now man to the fox in the box. Well blocked away there from Oscar Thomas and cleared. Deveki Marines now getting double teamed once again.
It's soon to be a Bunnings chair kicked over here, I think, in the technical area. The ultimate sign of frustration from a coach in Australian football.
Jeez, and with the build of plastic on those chairs, I wouldn't want to be kicking them too hard because they're very liable to lose a leg. Stone now competing, and just a bit of a shirt tug there from Stone, but allowed to go on. Archer cleared away. It's starting to get very tense here, isn't it? Devonport really pushing hard to get back into this game.
I think in that situation, Stone's sort of realised what he can and get away with in this game, and Morton just being beat physically there, so I don't think he wanted to commit the foul as Barnard bombing around the box. Turtle Holden. Kieran Brown comfortably claims that in front of Braden Mann.
Who we have not seen a lot of at all today, I have to say, Paul Hunt. He's one of the best players in the state, but geez, I really haven't seen him get involved too much, and he's one of those kind of players who will drop deep if they're not getting too involved in the game, but it's all been South today and not a lot of the man.
And when it has been down the right wing, it's been mainly the villain of the piece, Joel Stone, getting in down that flank, and not Braden Mann. He's certainly playing pretty high up, but I think the reason we haven't seen too much of him is Oscar Thomas has just done a marvellous job on Barnard and hasn't been able to feed off anything like he did on Tuesday night, where he pretty much had the middle of Northcote City pitch to himself.
One thing that I'm not understanding about the way Devonport are lining up today is the fact that we're seeing Barnard getting posted directly onto Oscar Thomas at all times, when really it seems to me that if you switched him out to the other side and try and get that big height advantage on the Archer, that you'd probably find a little bit more success up top, but it seems that Mann's going directly with Bowman today, and just a little bit surprised that they continue to persist with it, because they haven't looked as cohesive up top as they have on some other days, Devonport.
I reckon Thomas will just follow him wherever he goes. I think he's just going to grapple him. He'll switch sides if he needs to. I don't think he'll mind having to play the left side of centre-back. He's got the physical match for him, and he's doing a great job on him so far, as Kobe Kemp can't quite get around Dom Smith. Did pretty well there to fight to a narrow win. In the end, they get a free kick. Turtle Holden wants to take it quickly, but there's nothing on for him.
You're absolutely right there, Andrew Cooling, and he has just absolutely gone with him straight out to the other side now. Should have picked up on that one earlier, but brilliant that Oscar Thomas is shutting him down like that there.
Yeah, he lowered his colours a little in the cup final, but it's been a good fight back. The lack of Oscar Thomas rather on that day probably saw Barnard profiting against this South Hobart defence. They'll have to have him back. The frustration, because guess who is now on the deck having been hacked down? Joel Stone drawing the ire of the crowd and earning the free kick. And it was Deveki, I think, who fouled him. Not too many arguments with that one. Pretty clear cut, but fair to say the frustration or the sense of it pretty palpable at Darcy Street right now. But very much a warranted free kick.
Did you see the crowd so on edge for a team 3-0 up at home?
Yeah.
Still very, very touchy about these fouls. You just feel like almost saying you're 3-0 up.
When you think about
Chill.
it, every goal is worth 2 in this, and the 3 points are worth 6. So if they're going to be winning the title, really going to need to batter them by 5 goals or so, I just about think today, South Hobart. And geez, they're looking on form to do it. This could be Braden Mann getting over the ball now. Looking like he's going to take it. Curls it in. It's on target, but did well there, Kieran Brown, to track the ball. Coming through a bit of a pile of bodies, but pretty poor free kick really from Mann, other than getting a little bit of power behind it.
I think he was wanting to try and get that bounce in front of the keeper and skid off the wet surface. Is that surely a foul on Nick Morton? Braden Mann, I guess you could say getting involved in the game, but it's mainly in conversation with the referee and committing a foul at this stage.
Yeah, I think it's probably been the biggest quality that he's offered today, but extraordinary player, so I wouldn't rule him out at any stage of the game. Walter now nearly just touched it through. Devonport Marines, a bit of a swing at that one. He's going to get a second bite, despite the fact that he just airballed the last one.
As we see the spectators run for cover, it's just started steaming down here at Darcy Street. Kemp in an area outside the box he likes, but going the wrong way, so it looks to Schmidt. Morton now beaten out by Mann, but heavy touch from the captain. Another heavy touch. It'll go back to Stone. Now Bidwell. Walking long to Kieran Brown, and only Kieran Brown, as there's no one else there. And with chesting that down and the 1 minute of stoppage time given from Stratos, we should see the end of the half time.
We'll put that down a little bit to perhaps the wind and the rain, which is coming in sideways. We have seen 6 seasons in a day here at Darcy Street just about. They've chucked in a couple of extra ones. I think one of them is going to be named Turner. So he's been pretty extraordinary out there. Well, it's been the season of Turner.
He's blown in and has caused some fair destruction to this Devonport defence. They have not looked themselves today. Perhaps the FFA Cup hangover at play. South Hobart, though, have been well and truly dialed in. They've raced to a 3-goal lead. We'll have a look at the goals. The first one there, Bidwell just caught playing Turner onside. He makes no mistake.
That finish is just about world class. That is, who in the world is going to stop a finish like that? Top corner, beautiful work there from Turner. So we get on to the second one, which I initially thought was a little bit controversial. I don't know about you, Paul Hunt, but
look, the more and more I see it, the more I think it is a goal. As we look at Turner's lovely finish into the side netting once again. And yeah, it's just, with the second one on live, you just see it ping-ponging around, and from where we are, it's hard to tell. And we'll get to that shortly. Here it is. It's Alex Walter. Lascano must have got a toe in there instead of Turner, as Walter, who's pretty much not even in the field of play, comes back onto the field of play to score a goal.
Yeah, looking at that one, I really did initially think that Turner had gotten the first touch as a pass to him there, but the linesman on the far side is going to actually have a superb view of that one, so would not be surprised if Tony Pert has gotten that one absolutely correct. As we just have a look again, you're absolutely right, it is Lascano. We've got to give some credit to our filmographer there. That was absolutely extraordinary camera work to try to catch that vision, so well done.
So that was 2-0, and Alex Walter absolutely loving life. And yeah, no doubt Lascano with the touch on that one. The Spanish King and South. Well, Jack Turner back heel deflects off Mulroney into the path of Kobe Kemp, who emphatically powers this one home. 3-0, party time at Darcy Street.
Just noticing Jack Turner giving it to Pitchford there in the end in the background celebrations.
I thought it was Walter initially with that little back heel that I thought was brilliant, but it's probably been a little bit lucky in the end there, that one deflecting in the way that it did. Just getting a bit of a touch off Mulroney, as you rightly observed there, Paul, but clinical finish there from Kemp.
Yeah, take nothing away from the finish. You could see that was Turner's intention anyway, so coming off the chest of Mulroney did make a huge difference, as it looks like we've got a bit of a distressing scene with the Bunnings chairs here. They're turned upside down. I think it's to prevent rain, but it looks like looks very dangerous.
Nothing distressing there, just common sense, Paul. You don't want to come back out and get a wet bum. And
not that South Hobart's technically ever spent much time sitting down in this match anyway.
That's probably the bigger threat. So we'll be back with the second half shortly. South Hobart on course to just fire themselves back into the title race, leading 3-0 at the break.
role in the middle of the park here today. Stone tries to turn away. Devecki and Stone seemingly trying to recreate Riley
Company. Odd little trick there before he combines with Krusha. Bidwell again. And there's no one getting on the end of that ball across the face.
Takes this corner short and has the chance to swing it in now. He finds Lascano, goes for the bicycle.
Why
Gets
not?
pretty close to the head of Loic Farrell though. Got his foot in there. Bidwell coming through, scrapping with Loic Farrell. Play allowed to continue. Joel Stone skips into space and drives it into the box. Who got the last touch on it?
Leaves a foot in now. Turner to Kemp. Jack Turner's on here. He's onside, going through to the box. Jack Turner, 1v1. Shoots and scores. Jack Turner putting South Hobart 1-0 in front in the big game.
And that is an absolute sucker punch from South Hobart. I am pretty sure that that is their first shot throughout the game. First shot.
Leaves a foot in now. Turner to Kemp. Jack Turner's on here. He's onside, going through to the box. Jack Turner, 1v1. Shoots and scores. Jack Turner putting South Hobart 1-0 in front in the big game.
And that is an absolute sucker punch from South Hobart. I am pretty sure that that is their first shot throughout the game. First shot, man, and Barnard up top for Devonport. South Hobart's goalkeeper's done pretty well there as a pretty clear foul is called.
Going into the 18-yard box. Look, dummy from Kemp to Vecchi. In the box, goes to the bicycle to Vecchi and trying to say to Lascano what you can do.
Masterful work there from Chris Gallo in human psychology, that one. He has absolutely got the best out. As Joel Stone for about the fourth time goes through
In the pack here, and it's a beautiful bit of play here. Chipped up over the top, clear handball from Turner, and well spotted there.
Alex Bolter, he's got two in the box. One is Turner, hits it to the keeper, deflects, Turner scrambling, Walter! It's in! It's a tap in the head, a bad scramble in the 6-yard box. And the goal has been given despite calls for offside.
Yeah, we're going to need to have another look at this one because he looks so very.
Alex Bolter, he's got two in the box. One is Turner, hits it to the keeper, deflects, Turner scrambling, Walter! It's in! It's a tap in the head, a bad scramble in the 6-yard box. And the goal has been given despite calls for offside.
Yeah, we're going to need to have another look at this one because he looks so very. I didn't see a touch there from Lascano, but they're on again here, South Hobart. Kemp dances through and then just gets up and underneath it, and potentially there with Walter out on the other side. Go through to Vecchi. Some beautiful foot skills, a little bit of a shirt tug, and then potentially there with Walter out on the other side. Go through to Vecchi. Some beautiful foot skills, a little bit of a shirt tug, and then just chopped off there by Pitchford. If somebody a bit bigger had made that run at the near post, they're in there. Bidwell with a steaming run before Nick Morton with a sprint gets in with the sliding challenge. Devecki now looking to take on Blizzard. Blizzard just gives him a shove and Copper is letting it go.
It's towards Turner. And as far as Joel Stone, Turner. The good stuff that tote the Darcy crowd.
Got a 2-0 lead. Tempted. Beautiful flick, and it's a goal! What a beautiful back heel flick that was before it's finished off by Kobe Kemp. Incredible third goal for South Hobart. Oh, class, take a bow, Alex Walter with the assist.
Well, this goal difference that we said was like an extra point is being whittled away here at the moment by South Hobart.
2-0 lead. Tempted. Beautiful flick, and it's a goal! What a beautiful back heel flick that was before it's finished off by Kobe Kemp. Incredible third goal for South Hobart. Oh, class, take a bow, Alex Walter with the assist.
Well, this goal difference that we said was like an extra point is being whittled away here at the moment by South Hobart.
Dom Smith for company, beautiful overlap from Gorry. Goes himself, Walter, and it was just sneaking in at that near post, but you wouldn't expect it.
Lascano losing that one under the sun. Devecki brings it down magnificently to Turner. Couldn't quite control that one, Jack Turner, but South Hobart. Stone against Morton to Turner. Turner's working, spot shoots with the left foot, but right at keeper Pitchford.
Yeah, they just... All right, cross coming in here for Devonport. Can they get one back? The fox in the box was lurking there, but
it's just a way back into the game. It's Joel Stone to swing it in, goes to the back post, and Brown claws at it, puts it behind for another corner.
Like Grunwald last year, and they're on here, Devonport. It's that man, the villain, the Stone man, Joel Stone, and he absolutely gets psyched down.
He stands it up to the middle of the box. Stone was there, blocked, I think. Jack Turner getting back, pinballing around the box. Dom Smith. Adam Gorry took it away. Then he beats a defender too. Dexterous, this from the big centre back. And teaser. Lascano blocked off the line. And Morton will eventually clear.
That was a striker's kind of run. Bidwell now tried to dance through, but gives it away. Deveki Marines gets told to get up because he
Physically there, so I don't think he wanted to commit the foul as Barnard bombing around the box. Turtle Holden. Kieran Brown comfortably claims that in front of Braden Mann.
Right back, the lack of Oscar Thomas rather on that day. Probably saw Barnard profiting against this South Hobart defence. They love to have him back. It's the frustration because get him.
like he's going to take it. Curls it in. It's on target, but did well there, Kieran Brown, to track the ball.
Wanting to try and get that bounce in front of the keeper and skid off the wet surface. Is that surely a foul on Nick Morton? Braden Mann, I guess you could say.
And he gets rather cynically blocked off there, and the first foul of the game goes South Hobart's way. And we'll see plenty of that from Bo Blizzard today, I suspect.
We'll probably see plenty of that. Miles Barnard tries to find Bidwell, and I think he does just enough to get the throw in, and he does.
Jeez, I'd like
Energy roll in the middle of the park here today. Stone tries to turn away. Deveki and Stone seemingly trying to recreate Riley Dillon.
Odd little trick there before he combines with Krusha. Bidwell again. And there's no one getting on the end of that ball across the face.
He takes this corner short and has the chance to swing it in now. He finds Lascano, goes for the bicycle.
Why
Gets
not?
pretty close to the head of Loic Farrell though. Got his foot in there. Bidwell coming through, scrapping with Loic Farrell. Play allowed to continue. Joel Stone skips into space and drives it into the box. Who got the last touch on it?
Leaves a foot in now. Turner to Kemp. Jack Turner's on here. He's onside, going through to the box. Jack Turner, 1v1. Shoots and scores. Jack Turner putting South Hobart 1-0 in front in the big game.
And that is an absolute sucker punch from South Hobart. I am pretty sure that is their first shot throughout the game. First shot.
Leaves a foot in now. Turner to Kemp. Jack Turner's on here. He's onside, going through to the box. Jack Turner, 1v1. Shoots and scores. Jack Turner putting South Hobart 1-0 in front in the big game.
And that is an absolute sucker punch from South Hobart. I am pretty sure that is their first shot throughout the game. First shot, man. And Barnard up top for Devonport. Thank Lord for the earmuffs.
And we're back for the second half here at Darcy Street. Devonport back out there. I'm informed the hairdryer was pulled out in a half-time break by Coach Chris Gallo, and I'm not surprised. That was a very flat first 45 minutes from them.
Jack Turner
They trail
from
3
here.
goals
He's
to nil.
onside,
Here's
going
live.
through to the box.
Have a
Jack
look at the
Turner,
goals against
1v1,
Hobart.
shoots and
Back
scores!
out with the pitch, of course. They started the day 6 points adrift and 14 goals adrift. As it stands, that gap would be close to 3. And the goal difference at 8 with 3 weeks to go. So still a handy buffer, but if South can get a couple more in this second half, it would really tighten things up. And of course, Devonport still have a further FFA Cup trip upcoming on the 21st of August away to Avondale. So certainly would keep the title race very much alive. If South can get a couple more goals, it would really dial up the pressure on the strikers.
Certainly would. It's not an impossible task for South Hobart, but Devonport, they'll be happy to have a couple more home games in the offing at Valley Road and avoid this the long trip down. And for them, I think a win today is pretty much out of the question. It's just about getting some pride and restoring, I guess, some faith in what they've been doing here in this second half. As well, the sun looks out, but I tell you what, it's freezing and cold and all of the above
Still
here at
raining
South Hobart.
up the other end.
As Jack Turner, the assist creator and goal scorer from the first half, gets ready to get us underway in this second half. Knocks it to Nick Morton, down the line in the direction of Walter, but well beaten out by Smith. Stone loops it forward looking for Holden, but Gorry tracking back does well and then just knocks it out of play. Very good recovery there from South Hobart's favourite ranger.
Dom Smith with the throw in, of course. Former teammate of Adam Gorry's. Fantastic season and their title success as Blizzard works one in, steered away by Thomas. Holden trying to bend one from a very tight angle. And it had to bend a little bit more than it did and finds the side netting only. But better signs out of the blocks from the strikers at least.
Some great power on that attempt there from Turtle Holden. But just never thought he was really going to get that one on target with where the defenders were placed. Appeared to be blocking off the only viable options. Gorry now just couldn't bring that one under his spell before Dom Smith smacked it away from him. It is going to be interesting to see how this half unfolds though, gentlemen, because South Hobart have been utterly dominant in that first half and been absolutely impressed with how Oscar Thomas and Bowman have carried themselves at the back. They've dealt with everything that's come their way. Oscar Thomas dealt with the fox in the box magnificently today, you have to say. And then the work of Turner and DeVecchi up front have just been crucial for South Hobart. Devonport are on here. They've got a bit of space. Barnard getting free, pulls off onto Bowman. Bidwell runs it. Oh, Oscar Thomas, and geez, was he making a bit of that? I thought there was just a little bit of contact, but would have been a pretty soft one, and the ref in a better position than all of us. He won't get any protest from the crowd on that.
Yeah, my initial thought was he went looking for it there, Bidwell. But I'll have to say on the replay, but Copper certainly let them go, so I don't think he was ever going to give a soft little one here. And yeah, I think he
It's a
just
dive. That's just about a yellow card.
Yeah, just hits the deck, tries to draw the penalty, and Copper not biting. Joel Stone similarly hits the deck, and he gets the free kick. The pantomime villain continuing to play the role to an absolute T.
Wasn't going to give that initially, Copper. It was Tony Pert, the AR, on that side, calling that one, and Devonport have their first set-piece opportunity for this second half. And again, it won't be Gentleman's Crucier over the ball as he was subbed off sensationally in the first half. Seems like we'll have Turtle Holden on this occasion to whip it in. Holden towards the centre. Lascano rising. It's bedlam in there, but eventually whacked clear from South Hobart. DeVecchi pressuring Bidwell, who was the last player back. Going forward, whipped in, and Oscar Thomas, the giraffe, will get in front. Jack Turner laying an elbow, but play on. Little bit of afters there, but still going. Now Morton leaves that one a little short and eventually whacked clear in the end from Dom Smith. It's Braden Mann challenging Kemp and wins it on this occasion. Bidwell Hasn't got a lot of options short, but does get it to Man, who's trying to beat everyone and just falls over. And now they're in here again nearly, but overhit. Whacked out of play eventually. No, just nearly kept in from Stone, but not quite on this near side.
Pretty damn well to keep that one in with Stone. Walter now on the ball, almost handballing it, but just more the awkwardness of the action. Great competition in there between Farrell and Man. Almost ran offside there, did Holden, but did well to get back on. But just too many South Hobart players around the ball there for Devonport to be breaking out.
Coach Ken Morton still expecting the usual high standard from his team and hasn't had much of a seat in this game as the Silver Fox. Smith launches it down the line. Turtle Holden with a flick on. Barnard. Walter looping it over the head of Smith and keeping the ball in play. Turner. Back to Morton, who probably should try and switch it here. Nearly takes out the referee. But finds Devecki in the end. Connor Schmidt with the overlap, and that's the direction he's going to. It's Schmidt. Sea of yellow in front. No one calling for it, and it falls to Walter. Cuts it back to Kemp, takes a touch. Well shielded off in the end.
Yeah, Andrew's doing really, really well to track the run there from Kobe Kemp. Gorry and Brown just doing enough there, but Turtle Holden was closing very quick. Seeing a
Dance
more long
rather than
ball.
Andrews. Just
Oh,
pick
Dance.
that one up.
My mistake.
Yeah, pick that one up. Slight statue difference between those two. Jance, of course, the hero of the FFA Cup a couple of years back. We have a look at Pitchford flying out, and I did not see that in live play. Wow. That is forceful.
I'd love to have another look at that. That was another acrobatic there, Pitchford. He got the ball at Walter.
Made sure he got the man too, didn't he?
He got both in the true sense of the word.
You know, they talk about there being attackers' tackles, but geez, what does that make a goalkeeper tackle? It's a fair assault, I think, almost a grievous bodily harm type.
Normally
operation.
a red card is what you call a goalkeeper slide challenge.
Interesting work there from Pitchford. A little bit dangerous, some of us could suggest.
Yeah, just there's Jesse Dance, number 6 on the team sheet. There's
just
Devecki being stitched up by the match program once again.
Killing me.
Morton just heaves that one out of play, looking for Walter, who's, I think Man Bun's finally getting in salad contention. There's Gorry.
Flow to it today, isn't there?
A lot more than normal. From Smith to Holden. 2 number 10s going at it, and Gorry whacks it clear. Lascano patiently underneath that one, and Lloyd Farrell does similar. Kemp to Devecki, lovely turn of Eddie Bidwell from the Brazilian. Devecki Marines, he's got most of Devonport's team to beat, but wins the foul expertly, leaving a leg out there. Lascano.
I think that's foul number 5 or 6 too there from Lascano for the game. They're really starting to build them up, Devonport, and not seeing any real punishment coming their way.
He's getting absolutely brutalised and getting very little protection out there, Renato Devecki. They have come here and they are just kicking him. It's the only way to stop him, probably, but I think I'd like to see a little more cheddar being handed out here to protect the type of players such as Devecki.
I mean, Coppera's had 15 minutes to find a pen, so he hasn't got an excuse now.
Either way, a free kick opportunity, at least they have got that much, and it's Kobe Kemp to send it into Devecki. Mistimes the header and just sends it straight up in the air. And I think he's slightly more adept with the ball at his feet there, the Brazilian.
Yeah, well, if that was up the other end of the ground, that's a brilliant defensive clearance. But have a look at this again. This is the 10th or 11th foul, I think, that he's drawn today. And it's just getting to the stage where you've really got to be giving a yellow card, I think. Get involved and flash a bit of the cheese, I say, Copra, because that man's getting kicked from pillar to post.
As that's a loose touch from Joel Stone.
Maybe he brought the craft singles today, Copper, and just tucked into the cheese at lunchtime and has no more to produce.
Yeah, cheese toasty at halftime. Could have been on the cards as Pitchford gets himself into a little bit of trouble. Was sold short by the back pass, and Jack Turner was looming up on him. Lascano under a bit of pressure here, just a bit of a bobble too. Complicate matters. Negotiated it pretty well in the end, Pitchford, as the Morthog picks it up, works it to Walter. Heavy first touch, robbed by Bo Blizzard, who's done so well to get back out there on the pitch. I was surprised to see him in the starting lineup today. But, back out there and doing his usual work in front of the back four as Dom Smith is to launch this one back into play. Holden offering short, he'll go further afield. It holds up in the wind and Holden gets there. Gorry nodded on by Walter to Kemp to Turner. Lascano stepping in, clears the area, only as far as Luke Farrell. Devecchi Marines taps it back to Schmidt and then runs into space and says, give it to me. That's exactly where he heads. He skips around Lascano. He skips around Dance. It's Devecchi Marines, and Dance recovered well. Just held him up. He was looming large there. Luke Farrell swings it in. That's a poor ball.
I think that is the first time that they have allowed Devecchi Marines to run into the box without hatcheting him down. So it was probably one of the most exciting bits of play of the day, you've got to say. Well done, Devecchi. Not only was he managing to keep the ball under his spell, but he was dodging a few bullets being shot his way there too. So well done, Renato Devecchi Marines. Almost sold that one a little bit short there, did Blizzard for Bidwell. Bidwell comes up against Schmidt. He rides the challenge well. Great cross, man! Incredible goal from Braden Mann! The diving scissor kick, and he's put it into the bottom corner, and that is why that man is one of the best players in the state. He can be quiet all day, and then you might have just seen the goal of the year.
He's done absolutely nothing in the first 54 minutes of this game, Braden Mann, and then he produces something extraordinary like that from out of pretty much nothing. Bidwell makes a great run, slightly behind him. Scissor kick, he scored one slightly similar from a lot way out in up at Valley Road earlier this season, and then gets adjudged a bit of pinball there between the South Hobart players. But Braden Mann, one of the goals of the season, giving Devonport some life here at Darcy Street.
Let's talk Bidwell too in the build-up to that, because wasn't that extraordinary work from the young right back? And the cross was put on a 10-cent piece, I reckon. Absolutely perfect there from Eddie Bidwell. Turner now, though, trying to just work South Hobart's 3-goal advantage back up. But
it's also one of those goals, there's not many players in the state who could actually finish that. If it's behind them slightly, it'd be past and then the defender would clear. But from anywhere in the 18-yard box, Braden Mann can work up something special, and it certainly was from the captain. As we see Alex Walter down for the moment.
Just a little bit of an impact injury, I reckon, here, yeah. Just copped a bit of a knee to the knee there, I think. Should be all right to continue. He's had a pretty damn good game today, I have to say. As Walter, he's kept Smith's hands full at left back. We haven't seen him offer much forward, but Gorry now, beautiful curling delivery. It did get through past that first man, Lascano, and I couldn't quite see who was behind it, but it could have been Oscar Thomas, the giraffe, managing to get that long neck low there and knocking it out of play. Couldn't direct it on target. Pitchford was looking to play it short, but once again shut down by Turner, and he's done a good job of being aware enough to do that today.
The goal difference gap back to 10 now. Every goal essentially counting double between these two, so they've settled it down in the second half. Devonport, they looked much brighter than they did in the first, and Braden Mann with a moment of pure magic has pulled one back. Now he turns it inside, looking for Dance. Dance out to Smith, who slides under pressure from Bowman and can't direct it into the box. But it's been a much better half here from the strikers. We have a look at Eddie Bidwell just beating Connor Schmidt. All ends up and then supplies a gem of a ball. And what a hit from Braden Mann. What a season he is having. And once again, as you said, he's barely touched the ball today, but he still comes out and conjures that. And that is the value of having Braden Mann in your team.
Can do things that other people can't. It was a beautiful athletic finish. Will it be enough to spark a Devonport revival here and get them back into this game? Because I feel even if they could earn a point here, that's almost going to be curtains on the title race for Devonport. So tense and crucial times here for the strikers. If they can snatch 2 goals here in the next 35 minutes, just think that they'll be wrapping up the title, and what a way to try and spark a comeback.
I mean, clearly aiming for that as Lascano running across to take the free kick. Looked like he was going to take it as quickly as possible, but instead, compose himself. And as Carno launches that one in the Barnard direction. Finally gets a flick on off Oscar Thomas. Oh, bad header there from Bowman. Will nearly find Holden, and it does. Back to Smith. Dom Smith hasn't got a whole lot of options to aim for here, and Walter eventually sees that one out over the sideline. Probably one of the first headers Barnard's won against the Giraffe Oscar Thomas in this match. It's back to Smith. Low ball only finds Morton. Calls for handball, despite the fact it would have hit him in the hip. And then to Vecchi Marines, being shoulder charged by a fired up Braden Mann.
He is fired up now, isn't he, Braden Mann? He's really come flying out of the blocks in this half. A bit of a whack at that. Probably a little bit of a free kick there. A little bit soft.
I'm comfortable with that one being paid as Devecki turns it straight over to Dance. Dance back inside to Joel Stone. Who's the striker's most likely to create something. And there's the commentator's curse for you. Just typically rolls one straight to the path of Adam Gorry. He went further afield than Turner. Can Devecki get there first? Sliding in was the Spanish King, Connor Schmidt now. Combining with Turner and continuing his run. He wants to go to Devecki, but there's 3 Devonport Strikers players surrounding him. I think they've got to be careful to not just become too Devecki Marines centric here in their approach, because Devonport are covering him.
I think, yeah, they've really risking making that mistake here, because Walters is really getting into all kinds of space out here on this near side to us, and they go that way this time, but as you can see, opens up that space. Kobe Kemp now looking to play in Gorry, but good bit of defending there from Mulroney.
Kobe Kemp getting some space down this right-hand side. I haven't seen a huge amount of him for the first 15 minutes of this second half. Kobe Kemp, scorer of the 3rd goal for South Hobart. Throw in taken to Walter. He's got Morton as an option. Goes to Gorry. Adam Gorry laying it down the line to Morton, who wins the corner kick. Not quite, actually. Joel Stone keeping it in, and then Turner is adjudged to have fouled him.
Geez, the crowd's a little bit quieter on that one than I thought that they would be.
I think they've forgotten that he's the villain.
I think when Jack Turner is not protesting the decision, you can be pretty safe to say it was a foul.
Yeah, it is an absolute dead giveaway. Jack Turner's not complaining about a foul he's attempted to have committed, as Braden Mann gets that one up. Lascano looking to bid well. Turns around Devecki nicely. Tried to find Joel Stone. Probably should have just went short to Dance in the end. Look at the pace of Alex Walter, beating Dom Smith to it, and a great slide challenge from the defender. Gave him a 5-yard head start there, Alex Walter, and made it up, and the crowd getting involved in that one.
Yeah, the pace of Walter exceptional. Smith does really well in the end to make that sliding, lunging challenge after he'd just been burnt down the outside by Walter, but defended to throw in, take into that man Walter, who wants to get it back to Gorry. That was shut down. Trying to turn back onto the right. Smith shadowing him nicely. Eventually works it to the Morthog. Nick Morton, Bo Blizzard, stride to stride with him. Morton turns it round him, tried the nutmeg on Mulroney, he wasn't having it. And Blizzard able to clear it up the line. Joel Stone nods it past Lloyd Farrell. Stylish stuff that from Joel Stone. Leaves it behind, and then a fancy little back heel. Clever stuff again, and now Turtle Holden looks to take on the Archer. Cuts back inside onto the right foot. Stands it up to the back post for Mann! 3-2! Braden Mann is hauling his side back into the game. In the blink of an eye, the deficit is cut to 1.
I think that goal is more impressive than Braden Mann's goal. It's a big call, but the way they transitioned from their back corner through 4 to 5 players down the line, Holden taking a step back, looking up and seeing Braden Mann in that pocket of space, and then to put it on an absolute 10-cent piece for the striker. It's a tight angle. He's fired his team back into contention. It's the Braden Mann show here in this second half, as South Hobart are already back underway. Devonport trying to use every second getting the ball back quickly for a kick-off.
Oh, we got ourselves a game here now, don't we? What a clinical finish there from Braden Mann. And what beautiful work out here on that left-hand side from Turtle Holden, and he looks right up for the challenge too. And you'd have to say the only Devonport player that's been quiet now has probably been the Fox in the box. And what omen is that, boys? What omen is that?
Yes, you rarely can keep the Fox down as Smith finds Stone. Stepping in front is Turner and getting a little bit of niggle afterwards. It was a foul by Joel Stone, though.
What count do we reckon we're up to on Stoney?
What is just
Close to the number on his back, I reckon.
Yeah.
But a more positive Joel Stone comment, the work he did to get past Luke Farrell a moment ago, just a little lob over the top and run past. That was a big part of the lead up to the goal. Many players that get that probably would have been worked out for a throw in. South get bodies back. That goal never comes about. He takes the man on with a bit of audacity. Things open up further afield.
He's got a good smirk too, does Joel Stone, when he's done the wrong thing and he's just getting told off for it. So don't mind that in a player, because that's something that can always rile up your opposing numbers. South now getting onto the ball, and they bring themselves back to a bit more of a buffer here. Connor Schmidt overlapping now with Bidwell for company. Got a couple in the middle. Falls to Deveki Marines. Kobe Kemp just looking to place it. Kobe Kemp again! Falls over. Deveki Marines gets it back out to Schmidt, and he goes himself. Bit of a deflection there. Nervy times for Devonport. Corner for South Hobart.
South Hobart immediately trying to get back on the front foot. Kobe Kemp trying to get on the ball a little more. Connor Schmidt in the end having the third shot that rolls out for a corner kick. And we'll see what South Hobart can do from this one. They take it short to Connor Schmidt. Little chip ball to the back post. It'll skid on, and Alex Walter just keeps it in. Plays it back to Turner, to Morton. Morton just setting his feet, goes to the near post. All cleared in the end from Mulraney.
That was a beautiful ball in there from the Morthog. That kind of ball that's really hard for a defender to clear, can fall to the person at the near post, can fall to the person at the back post, can also creep in at the back post. So beautiful work there from the Morthog. Continuing here south, Deveki Marines turns and runs, well defended from Dance. Dance, Blizzard and Bidwell combine now to work it away for Devonport. And they look on here. Man's making a run, goes in that direction, clearly onside. Good header down to the Fox in the box, but it's all south.
Oh, down to Becky Marines. Is going down the wing, tries to play through. Turner. Mulraney is there to clear up in the end, and Devonport are primed to make their second substitution in the game, and it's Jack Dance coming on. So both the Dance brothers being introduced in this game. Coming off is number 7. Bidwell coming off. Another interesting move from Chris Gallo. Not one you see substituted too often there. Maybe just possibly running out of legs. I mean,
he looked absolutely shot at the end of Tuesday night. He absolutely put in a hell of a shift, and I'm not surprised. It's been a big week for Bidwell, so that doesn't surprise me too much that he might be feeling it a bit late in the game, so maybe more precautionary. Certainly did a mountain of work the other night as Dance clears the area up towards Bowman. Bowman looks up south. Just need to steady things down a little bit here. They've been jumping this half. This game's done a complete 180.
Exactly what I was thinking there, Andrew, calling, because they've almost allowed this game to become end-to-end at times, South Hobart. And when you're 3 goals up, there's just absolutely no need for that kind of play. I suppose if you're thinking about goal differences, that every goal is worth 2, and they could have really wanted to push it up to 5 or 6-0 after that first half. But at the end of the day, you've got to remember the class that Devonport have. Great turn there from Turtle Holden. He's got Gorry for company, cuts back inside. Oh, beautiful work there, but well defended from Walter before Dom Smith throws in an ambitious shot. Earns a corner, perhaps a bit fortunately for him.
Yeah, just get the shot roughly on target in the area and hope for a deflection, which is what happened there in Dom Smith's case. And good to have our man on the ground, Andrew Coulden, there on Tuesday night to get those insights on Eddie Bidwell. Clearly did a mountain of work down there on the sideline as the corner goes towards the back post, rising high, but no one there for the second ball. Morton trying to turn away from Lascano. Eventually hoofs it clear, and that'll skid on for Pitchford to collect. Deveki Marines charging it down, but good composure there from Pitchford.
Absolutely love the composure from Nick Morton there to just give his attackers another 1.5 seconds to get up the pitch there, and it was almost enough for Deveki Marines to get to that one. Bit of a shirt tug there. Apparently it doesn't matter, and we're going to play on. Turner just gets sent the wrong way there by Lascano. Turtle Holden and Dance combining. Dance chips it up the top to man. A little bit of a heavy touch, but he knew where it was going before a bit of a nothing ball to Brown. Gorry's got Walter on the run with a little bit of space up ahead, but that's a poor ball.
Tom Smith forced into retreat there by Walter, who thought he'd won the throw. Not so. Bit of action on the South Hobart bench in the last couple of minutes. Bajari Sculthorpe looking like he might be set to come on at some point. This game really has changed for South now. Whilst did seem at half-time it was a chance to rein in that goal difference. Now it's just secure the 3 points. Make sure we can make sure of that at least, and hope that then Devonport can slip up in the coming weeks, cut that gap to 3 points between them. And goal difference now starting to look like it's not going to be achievable thanks to this wonderful fight in the strikers' side. They fought back in the second half. Braden Mann can't keep a good man down. He's fight in a brace with 2 wonderful finishes. The first one particularly spectacular as Joel Stone gets a little push in the back from Adam Gorry.
I wonder if he wants a yellow card for that one. Just Joel Stone. He didn't look too happy about it.
He's asking for it, and so was Coach Chris Gallo as well in South Hobart's. Fans would have been ropeable if that one was given, but nonetheless, it's
I would like to see a cheese today.
I would like to see at least one, just to show that, just for my own benefit to see if he brought the cards.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at too, Paul, I think. But, you know, he's been consistent and he's let them play.
Yeah, Blizzard with a fairly average free kick. That's the one the centre backs hate when you trot up and then goes absolutely nowhere near you. It'll be Dance. Deflected through ball. Only goes as far as Luke Farrell. He's got Schmidt overlapping on the far side, and that's where he goes. He'll have to turn back here if he wants to find a teammate, Connor Schmidt. Holding for company. And again, didn't quite let his teammates get up far enough, Lescano, and the strikers get out of defensive half.
I think Andrew is absolutely right in worrying that this South Hobart side's become a little bit too Devecchi-centric, because they appear to be attacking up this left-hand side a little bit too much, I think. We're seeing Walter get into all kinds of space out here on the right, and he's probably had the better of Smith for the day. And seeing out the other side, Devecchi Marine's getting tackled by 3 or so players at a time, but Devonport in now. We've got Turtle Holden up against the former Devonport man, Gorry. Takes on Gorry. Can he get into the box? No. Great defending there from Gorry to knock that one away.
I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with South Hobart being Devecchi-centric if their right-hand side was, say, me at right back and you at right wing, but it's Adam Gorry and Alex Walter, 2 of the best players in the state, who just about walk onto a mythical Tasmanian state team. So it's hardly like they've got any slouches that end, and that's why, yeah, I certainly think they should try and move away from that as the corner conceded from Alex Walter.
Perhaps the benefit of it is that you, by attacking down that left-hand side, you're drawing so many players over that the quick switch is on there for Walter, and they've done that a couple of times today. We see the villain today curling it in, well done by Morton at the near post. Comes to Bo Blizzard, curls it on the left, great cross, it's in a dangerous zone. Mulroney can't get the header. Schmidt just has to pop that one away in worry and in fear, because Mulroney was lurking there from that cross. Dangerous and nervous times for South.
Lurking at the back post. There was Kieran Mulroney. He's been a real promising threat for most of these set pieces for Devonport, and as soon as they can get enough height to beat the first South Hobart player, they're looking dangerous. The strikers, as this one comes in, the Fox in the box, Bowman out of the way. It's 3v2 here, and that's a foul. Devecchi Marines against Bo Blizzard. The crowd not really seeing that one that way, and I've got to admit, I think all 3 of us didn't quite see it that way either.
See what, it's for an off-the-ball block, I think, and they were bursting 3v2.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, we're about to see, I reckon. Actually, probably a bit more of a hold there from Blizzard. That's a pretty appalling decision.
Yeah,
I do like to defend the referees, but he's probably got that one wrong there.
Yeah, that stopped a promising attack too. South were streaming forwards. They looked on, but instead it's now Devonport with Stone holding over the deck.
I can just feel the victim complex growing, Andrew.
Look, it's a new passage of play, so I'm not paying it. Defend the set piece, whether they should have it or not. Joel Stone to step up. He just chips it in there to the back post. Bowman away. Gorry volleys it. Joel Stone mistimes his leap, and now Nick Morton will just drop it into the path of a willing run on Adam Gorry. Gorry gets it, he looks up and waits for a little bit of support. A little nutmeg on Stone, but no one ran near him really. Everyone was running away from Gorry and gave him very few options as a result.
He should have gone for goal. The net was gaping there, and he had the right kind of space to try and pop that one in, a la Beckham.
Probably the same level of difficulty as trying to get it to one of his teammates in that situation, as it was all, they were pretty much running in that direction.
There wasn't a lot on, and it looked like he was really going to give the ball away, whether he liked it or not. Braden Mann, a great headed through ball attempt for Barnard, but Bowman there more than equal to it. They've done a pretty good job today, Bowman and Oscar Thomas, in keeping that man, the Fox, in the box pretty quiet, and he's a very hard man to keep quiet. Walter with a great bit of body work on Dom Smith. He's probably had the better of the challenge here, and Deveki Marines just floating out the other side for a really, really good challenge comes in from Mulroney.
Done exceptionally well there, Kieran Mulroney. Lescano tried to get in front of the ball, and it didn't quite get there, as we see an attacking move here from South Hobart. It's the Archer, Jack Bowman, coming off, and Pajari Sculthorpe coming on. You would assume Lloyd Farrell would go to centre back.
Looks that way.
And Kobe Kemp to defensive mid, and Jack Turner back, and then Sculthorpe up front. Just move half the entire spine of the team.
Yeah, pretty versatile playing group, so we'll see how that works. But Walter to Kemp. Kemp trying to find Deveki. I don't mind them changing things up, because the way the game was going, Devonport were looking the more likely team to score again, as trying to win the ball was Jesse Dance over there, but concedes a free kick. It's just the throws. We have a look at Dance.
He's clipped the back of his ankle as he's gone to kick it there, Dance.
Yeah, will be a free kick.
A bit more of a direct threat, I think Pajari Sculthorpe's going to bring for them too, South Hobart. Wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing him try to work off the back of Lascano, because it's been Lascano who's been having to get out wide and help out Deveki Marines. Ball comes in for South. It's on target and hit pretty hard. Fortunately for Devonport, Pitchford well positioned and with clean hands.
I also think they're starting to lose the midfield battle a bit, and getting Jack Turner a bit more grunt in there might be what Ken Morton's after. He hasn't been quite as effective up top in this second half after a great first half, as the Fox in the box gets on the ball. Reasonably quiet today and works it back to Dance, tries to take on Kobe Kemp. That's easier said than done. Kemp sticking to him. Dance soldiering on, but eventually Kobe Kemp's going to win out, I think. Although, that has his pocket picked. Well done, Dance. And surprised he's not played the advantage there, but they'll get the free kick in a good position.
Nice side kick, Copper. I knew that one was going right down the throat of Kieran Brown, so the free kick.
He was just falling over a little bit as he crossed that one, I think.
Definite shirt pull.
The fence has stopped before he even put the cross in. The whistle went beforehand.
Oh well, I don't think Devonport will complain too much with the height threat that they have here. Turtle Holden on the left, curls it in, great cross, unmarked! Oh, Mulroney! He's just put it high in the air now, still time for Devonport. Dom Smith loses out the header to Pajari Sculthorpe. Balancing that like a cross between a seal and a bull was Pajari Sculthorpe. Excellent work. Blizzard's just trying to barrel through Copper here. The players have had enough. They're going to rip the cheese out of his pockets. Joel Stone now, he's coming up against Gorry. Great body position there from Gorry to just forcing him to pushing that one out.
Let's have a look at the replay. Kieran Brown, I reckon, makes a cracking save on Mulroney here. Just gets across, keeps him out, and then the volley, Pajari doing enough to put him off, but
they just forgot about him.
Devonport knocking on the door here, and an equaliser could just about seal the title.
That is the third time that I've seen him getting free at that far post too. It is the third time today that I've seen it happen. Just about flagged it on a couple of set pieces earlier, but South have really got to get somebody who's going to take responsibility for Mulroney there, or he's going to knock in an equaliser here late.
I think it's a case of he's kind of the third body. So
well, they're on here, Devonport. Braden Mann trying to play it quickly. Given away there. Sorry as I interrupted you there,
Paul. Good. You saw that. As I was just saying, I think they've got an extra body, so someone will take Barnard, someone takes Lescano, and it just leaves Mulroney to almost do as he pleases as Dom Smith fell over as he went to kick it, but Copper gave the foul anyway.
They're going to jump the fence here, South Hobart. Absolutely fired up. I would have loved a picture of what was going on to my right just then, because they were absolutely furious. It's getting to the point where I'm agreeing with them.
Bo Blizzard now taking advantage of Copper's 18th-ish foul of the day. I've just made that number up.
The travelling fans' advantage, as they say.
Yes.
Just curled in high by Blizzard. Falls into the Fox in the box. Chaos! Wasn't Lascano. Lascano's hit it into the back of a South Hobart player. And it is corner Devonport.
Whoever was marking Lascano managed to get his leg up as high as Lascano's, which is no mean feat, as we've seen here today. The ball into the back post, and Barnard finally winning a header. And it is Jack Turner against Lascano, and he gets a leg in the way. There's the corner gone near post. Morton should clear that one comfortably. Tavecchi does likewise. Bo Blizzard tries to find Stone, but can't quite. He'll want to whip this first time, but Kemp uses his body well. Kemp for Jari Sculthorpe is 1v1 here, uses his chest well, has Tavecchi for company, but enough defenders get back for the strikers. It's Morton pressuring Pitchford.
It's still really end-to-end kind of stuff, isn't it? And I just really think South Hobart need to be a lot calmer here and just hang on to the ball for a little bit. Can make Devonport chase this one. There is no need to bomb it forward in hope that you can just nick another one here.
You can really sense, I think, from the South Hobart faithful. They know the situation. They know if Devonport get another goal, it's probably title race over in this season. Sculthorpe backing into Lascano there.
And I think Pajari Sculthorpe would help them with the hold-up play to get back in. Oh, they're in here, Devonport. Morton working hard against Holden. Great cross, Holden. Oh, I nearly butchered the clearance there, did Schmidt. But Kobe Kemp's got it now. Will they be calm here, South Hobart? They won't. Poor touch from Turner. Great work from Dance. Falls to the Fox in the box. Great challenge there, Oscar Thomas. Oh, it is last chance saloon stuff here for South, isn't it? They've got to hold him out.
The problem for Barnard there, he was 18.1 yards out from goal. He wasn't quite in the box. Chris Gallo not happy about that decision. Morton, a real venom in this game now. Pitchford, Walter's in. Walter for the chip. Puts it over the top. And Copra will call the goal kick. Excitement abundant here in the South Hobart stand. Walter. Right, Pitchford was really in two minds there.
In no man's land was Pitchford there. It's just in between two minds, I have to say. You've got to either go for it or stay on your line there. Pitchford just let off there by Walters.
And kicks it to no one in particular. Only the head of Jack Turner goes to Dance. Dance leading the midfield. Now Kemp takes it off Blizzard. And a real hush descends over South Hobart. It's a nervous hush.
It's really changed. Half time, they're thinking, yeah, let's reel in the goal difference here. Let's peg this back, and we might only need them to drop points once more this year. Now it's let's hold on, make sure we get the victory. Priority number one. They're just holding on. Devonport have dominated this second half. They've been knocking on the door. They've pulled two back and they're pushing hard for a third as Barnard competes with Loic Farrell. The Frenchman does well and misplaces the clearance a little straight out.
Found that interesting as Oscar Thomas let Farrell go for that header instead of himself and decided to work off as the second defender, and probably why it worked to South Hobart's advantage. Barnard has a clear height victory over Loic Farrell.
It's a real lightning rod for anything aerial into the box, and he might be the target of this long throw as well. He is. He's got 3 to beat though. Connor Schmidt dropped in. Not a little way to Joel Stone. Dom Smith will be first to this one. He's got Braden Mann in close proximity. Goes himself and just waltzes around Walter. Then he works it to Braden Mann. Mann trying to get the better of Nick Morton here. Keeping hold of it and turning sharply. Now Gorry comes in. Plenty of defenders back for South. That's a wonderful ball for Dom Smith. Now he's got to smack this across the face. Surely Dom Smith. He should have hit it first time on the left, took it back to the right, and by then he slips and puts it well wide.
Oh, both of your co-commentators is angry he didn't put it to the penalty spot where Braden Mann was in an absolute acre of space.
I mean, you don't need to generate the space for yourself on 15 different occasions. If you've generated the space for yourself and you're a goal behind, put the ball in. Just trying to walk it in there, I think, Devonport. Lascano, though, typically, he has been brilliant up that channel in particular throughout this game. Lascano working very hard. The pantomime villain, Joel Stone, a beautiful little bit of footwork there to hang on to the ball. He's got man up ahead, a little bit overhit. Luke Farrell just knocks it away there, but they invite the pressure on now, South Hobart. And the sub is coming in here for the Strikers.
Jelenovic.
Jelenovic on for Miles Barnard, so strike out for striker here. The Fox in the box not having his way today, but still very much enjoyed his work this week. Absolutely the hero on Tuesday night. A pair of well-taken goals, so a slightly different type of player, Jelenovic. Not quite the aerial presence, but with his feet and a bit more leg speed.
Yeah,
so
quicker.
let's see if he can create something. Smith drops it short for Dance. Dance, all his best work, straight to the top of the box where Luke Farrar was. Now Jack Dance to his brother Jesse. Tom Smith punches it short for Blizzard. Heavy touch lets in Gorry. Tom Smith should have this situation under control and knocks it back to Pitchford. Rain starting to come down again as we reach the dramatic conclusion. 3-2 in favour of South Hobart. They led this game 3-0 after half an hour. Braden Mann has pulled two back. Can the Strikers find a third that would all but seal the title? They're pushing hard for it. Here's the recent addition, Jelenovic. Couldn't find Joel Stone. Walter tracking back, and it's all hands on deck at the back now for South.
It really is for South Hobart. They've been pushed further and further back in this half. They are still leaving Sculthorpe and Deveki Marins up top, but they just can't get the ball there. Nick Morton is well down in his own defensive half. Does manage to win a corner off the melon of Jelenovic. Only gains a couple of metres though.
Like that one, Paul. The melon of Jelenovic. You've done well. Gorry now to get this going. Turner gave him the option short, but wasn't the one that he wanted. Just a little bit of ping pong between the heads there. Lazcano now up against Sculthorpe. Headed high. Jelenovic couldn't quite track that one. There's a lot of these high kind of aimless balls coming into this game now. Just really hoping that you can get a good header on there. South looking to attack up through Morton. Just a real scrum going on over there, you have to say.
A drop ball, no throw in. I was hoping Copper would call a drop ball there just for no reason at all.
I thought the rolling ball was about to
Yeah.
break out for a second.
That's it.
As Adam Gorry's in some space here, he's got room to shoot. He does just that and drives. A fairly tame effort, comfortably gathered in the end by Pitchford, who lets fly with the immediate release to Jelenovic. Well done, Oscar Thomas was strong in the contest there. Bo Blizzard lets it run, works it to Mann, back to Blizzard. Well shut down Jack Turner. Dom Smith, he's had trouble keeping his feet, as does Dance. Lets in Kobe Kemp, and Lazcano stretches out. Makes a crucial block with Pajari. Sculthorpe lurking. Now he carries it forward, flicked on by Jelenovic. Nobody there. Thomas, Turner, Walter, now Kemp. Kobe Kemp lunging in was Joel Stone, missed absolutely everything. Now the diagonal puts a one-on-one between Dance and Deveki, who tricks back to his keeper, and they've negotiated it well.
It wasn't a kind pass back to the keeper, was it there from Devonport? They'll get things going again out through this left-hand side, I reckon. Mulroney goes the cross-field ball, but Turner getting a bit of touch on it, gets it away.
Both teams
nervous
here,
times.
a little guilty of running out of legs here. A few players just tending to stand at the back post rather than making forward runs as Holden tries the little dink, but probably the wider option to Dance would have been a good option as that was thumped clear. And will we see another keeper throw in? Bitchford keeps it in. Mulroney now with half of Darcy Street at his leisure.
You've got to say good work to Pitchford there. You've got to do the hard yards sometimes as a keeper, especially when you're chasing the game.
Certainly do, as Lazcano looking the raking diagonal. Connor Schmidt heads that one down, and Deveki Marins looks for Morton, clipped after the play. And finally a dose of daring coming out from Renton Cochrane. Possibly the biggest cheer of the afternoon here at South Hobart. But it is not Joel Stone with the first cheese, it is Guillermo Lazcano.
Well earned too. He was very much in the category of the crowd, really giving us good value today, the Darcy Street faithful.
Yep.
And they're happy to finally get the dose of daring.
Sometimes they've labelled allegations of snobbery at this suburb, and I refuse to accept that, especially after that
Oh, and Stoney gets one from He's talked his way into the book. He couldn't foul his way into the book, but he's talked his way in there.
I think he felt bad for his teammate that he's probably deserved one an hour ago. So it's Joel Stone into the book as well as Lazcano. And
He earned it.
To be fair, he earned it an hour ago, Joel Stone, but he's finally got it against his name.
They're just slowing it down pretty well here, South Hobart.
It reminded me of I don't know who Devonport are playing next week, but it struck me as that kind of foul that you try to give when you're trying to miss next week. Where it's the 88th minute and you just argue with the ref to get a cheese.
It's pretty tight.
Ramos.
I'll tell you what, their fixtures, Rangers is the softest game left on their schedule. They have Leicester City and then the final day away to Kingborough.
As I said, I didn't know. I was just thinking out loud of I've seen that happen in a few leagues around the world.
As we just head back to the game, a bit of anger there about the 10 metres that were just stolen by Devonport up the byline there. South fans absolutely riding every minute of this game. Turner now gets to Becky Marines. Manages to hold on to it here, South. Jari Sculthorpe.
Damn. He's not on 4 yellow cards. Slide it though. Love a good conspiracy. This Bajari can't with the corner.
He's just walked it out there, really, hasn't he?
1 minute plus stoppage time left now for South Hobart to hold on. Devonport, if they can strike now, would surely strike a fatal blow in the title race. Man nods on for Joel Stone. Stone tries to take it round Thomas. They box him out, but they get the throw. And Turner and Stone threaten
trying to get him sent off here, I reckon, is Turner, giving him a bit of a hug and a pat. Just seeing if you can get into the head of Joel Stone there.
Clearly watching Braden Mann's work against Northcote during the week, as that one's out wide.
Switches it out to Smith. Smith had Mann out on the left-hand side, but goes out to the right. That's Dance out there. Schmidt only manages to give it back to Dance before a great defensive effort comes in from Deveki Marines, who has had to do the hard yards for his team today. Not getting rewarded in goals, but he could be rewarded with the win. He's had to work hard on the left, Deveki.
Mulroney charging that one down. Worked out wide to Dance. 90th minute. Did just see Stratos put the board up, but I missed it because of the pole in the way. So
2 minutes.
2 minutes of stoppage time as Morton chips that one through, looking for Skelthorpe, but it'll roll out of play. Pitchford doing the duty. Nice fan there by the corner flag, watching from the comfort of her back window. Yeah, most of us would probably rather be in terms of warmth.
Not a bad piece of property there for your viewing pleasures.
I'm surprised Markage didn't try and get it. It's probably what he didn't
Not
have a
enough,
game at Darcy
not enough
Street,
elevation. Not enough elevation at all. He'd need a much bigger ladder.
He'd be on the roof, I reckon.
But they're on here, South Hobart. He's got Pajari Sculthorpe up in front of him. Does Deveki Marines sensibly running towards the corner though, and also winning the foul. And you've got to say, if South are smart about this, they can just about run down the clock with this free kick.
Yeah, I think despite the fact they want as much goal difference as they can, I think they just need to stay for the 3 points and just keep the pressure on a tad. I mean, they should gain confidence from beating snapping Devonport's wonderful win streak, should they do that, but they may search for a fourth. We'll leave them open though, as the pace of Turtle Holden is standing at halfway. Morton goes to the corner flag. Beaten out and cleared only as far as Turner.
Well, there's only 30 seconds to go now, so if Devonport are going to do it, they're going to need to do it fast. And they manage to get the ball up. Oh, and it's on here. Is that Lascano making a charge through? Could have been fouled there, but they just say, let it go, as he has done all day. Does Copra? He says, let it go.
Yeah, I think he was fairly blatantly brought down here. I thought the Spaniard as he charged forward by Kobe Kemp, but they get away with it. He was off what might have been last chance, because we've got about 10 seconds left now. Surely the final whistle imminent. Dom Smith knocks it long. Here we go. Greater man the target. He chests it down. Can't get around it. Played it from the ground, and Luke Farrell clears the area. We've gone past 92 minutes now. The whistle surely just seconds away. The title race is alive for another week. A look at the watch from Copper. Still we keep going as Gorry drops it off for Sculthorpe. Mulroney steps in. Smith, Stone, they're a bit statuesque at the moment. They might have given it up as Gorry picks out a teammate in the box. It was Bolter who couldn't beat Pitchford, but I don't think Devonport are going to beat the clock.
Will it give him one last chance? It's belted long by Pitchy. Great clearance away there from the Frenchman, Luke Farrell. Great man for company, but Farrell just marshals him out of the play there. And they are begging for the final whistle here, aren't they, at South Hobart?
They certainly are. As you haven't got time to let the throw-in be someone else, Braden Man. Take it as quick as possible. Long Dance sizing it up. Into the box, flicked on Lascano, plenty of South players back. And hoiked into the air, and that's it. South Hobart Victor's here at Darcy Street 3-2. Over the strikers, snappy their win streak. Aren't they loving that one?
Well, they cut the lead at the top of the NPL Tasmania table to 3 points with 3 rounds to go. Devonport remain in the box seat, but with an FFA Cup game and then a trip to Launceston City the weekend after, there is still hope for South Hobart. They live on in season 2018. Jeez, they nearly made an absolute mess of it. They led 3-0 at half-time. Braden Mann pulled 2 back, but it's the hosts who take the chocolates and fight on in season 2018.
Holding on for dear life there, South Hobart, especially in that last 25 minutes. I mean, indeed, that whole half, as we look at the goals again in what seems like a different era with that sunshine. Jack Turner beating the offside and getting him behind Lascano, but it's all about that finish. Jack Turner, the cork in the ocean. There was no bobbing up about that one. He dominated. And Pitchford flapping at that one. Lascano getting the final touch, we believe, allowing Alex Walter, not even standing on the pitch, to come back into the field of play and slot that one in. The 3rd goal for South Hobart. Kobe Kemp rifling that one in, but it was all Devonport in the second half, Jake.
Well, wasn't it? And they deserve a little bit of credit for the way that they came out after that, because they tried really, really hard to get back into that game, but just didn't quite have enough sting at the end of the game. And what a fantastic what's the word that I'm looking for here? Fortitude. They exhibited fortitude here, South Hobart, to hold that one out. But that goal from Braden Mann was something pretty extraordinary, wasn't it? And even as we have a look at this second one, Turtle Holden, what a brilliant delivery there, and typically clinical from Braden Mann to knock that one in. Yeah. And they were on at that stage, Devonport, but as I said before, a performance of fortitude from South Hobart really showed great mental strength to hold on here and keep that title race alive, boys.
It lives on for another week. Devonport remain in the box seat. They're only 3 points clear now, though. South Hobart closed that gap. The goal difference, though, perhaps worth a point itself. They're still going to need to slip up probably twice in the final 3 weeks. So Devonport, well, they really shouldn't lose it from here, but we've seen teams wobble before, and South are going to make sure the pressure is dialed right up on them. It was another famous day here at Darcy Street for South Hobart. They rocketed out to a 3-goal lead. Devonport nearly came all the way back, but this title race has life, and we'll be back next week to bring the latest iteration of it to you. But from a very wet and rainy and windy old Darcy Street, it's South Hobart keeping their season alive. Bye for now.